The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom.
Hey, what is going on, everyone? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and we are here live for Deep Love Tarot, your weekly love horoscope for the week of December the 16th through the 22nd of 2019. This show is brought to you by, of course, highvibe.tv, where you can get our apps, which are free, by the way, and you can get it on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, iOS, and your Android device, and of course our amazing website, highvibe.tv. Make sure that you subscribe today to get exclusive content like my daily video horoscopes, my weekly sun sign horoscopes, which all just got launched today, of course. And every day I got a daily horoscope, daily tarot, and my weekly intuitive. You should listen to that thing. It's pretty gnarly for what I had to say this week. And my weekly tarot, which goes way more broad into all aspects of life and more of the deep, spiritual, mundane stuff. If you understand what mundane means, not boring. But this show, of course, is where we look at the love life. And we are here with Mr. Craig Skidmore, who is my co-host for the show. What's going on, doggy?
Hello, everybody. Hello, Mr. Palmer. It's so weird looking at you from this angle.
I know. We've switched
from your backside.
sides. But I haven't switched teams.
No, you haven't.
You know what I mean?
We're both going in the same direction still.
No, I actually enjoy doing the show on our main stage here. I guess we got to find a name for each stage. We got to actually name the stages. We haven't even actually named the stages yet.
I believe that's just the High Vibe TV stage. Something like that.
I don't know. I think we got to come up with like a cool, you know how you name a car something cool? Like, or you go to a festival, right? Like they have the Sahara tent at Coachella, Like I saw Daft Punk in the Sahara tent. We got to think of like some main stage high vibe. Maybe people in the chat, if you're in the chat, maybe you got an idea for some of the names for the stages. By the way, I want to say that every week on Wednesdays, Craig and I do a show. When we were doing this show months ago, we used to answer emails about your love life, but now we have broadened it to any kind of subject. We've been talking about a lot of stuff. It's an exclusive show on highvibe.tv if you subscribe. It is called Full Disclosure. It's on Wednesdays. And make sure that you email us those questions, hvfulldisclosure@gmail.com. Have you been enjoying that show? We've already done it for 2 weeks.
I know, it's a trip. It goes by fast. I mean, these weeks just keep kind of piling into each other, and we just keep moving forward. So it's great. It's been fun. It's a new adventure, to say the least.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's been kind of crazy because last week we were talking about, oh boy, where did we get into? We got into...
I don't even know. The last week was such a wild week.
It just rolls into... Well, the week before was like twin flames, and then we went into divorce and how to deal with that. And then this last week, we went into, I don't know, there was some controversial stuff, but I don't remember why. I don't remember at this moment. We do a lot of shows, but we have a good time, and we answer the questions of everyone that are in the chat and stuff like that.
They might not always get the answer that they like.
We randomly pick them, but that show is more exclusive to really answering your questions, getting deeper into what's going on. How are you feeling about the energy right now coming into this week for love, Craig? How's your love life going?
I'm still optimistic. Though I have had 2 dates cancel on me in the last 2 weeks, I am still optimistic.
And
I'm still feeling good.
Saturday night, Craig was my date.
Yeah, we hung out. We hung out. It was nice. I'd already had some tequila
after hanging out all week, and it's like, all right, got the weekend off. I'm like texting Craig as I am like it's like 1 a.m. I'm like, what are you up to? And then he's like, I'm at my house. My date bailed. I'm like, I'm coming
drinking
over.
tequila sunrises by myself, which are
And we watched
delicious.
South Park. So, like, that's where we're at right now.
I woke up on the couch Sunday morning, right where you left me. It was great.
Yeah, I was like, wow, yeah, that's where our love lives are. We're, I kind of felt like, it doesn't feel like high school, but it's just kind of like, I don't know. It was like, me and Craig just kicking it, watching South Park. Like I felt like I was back in high school and then we looked it up. South Park came out in '97, and it's like I remember being in middle school and high school, like watching South Park. It was a good one though. It wasn't like it was a boring South Park. So I'm
Those
cool
new
with that.
South Parks this year are fire.
Yes, I mean, I'll be honest. Those guys keep it going gangster. Do you guys watch South Park in the chat?
I think everyone watches it just.
I don't know. Maybe some people don't think that's too high vibe, but
I don't know.
It's funny.
I just got on Rick and Morty recently. It took me a couple episodes, but it's actually pretty damn funny.
Very nice. Yeah, energetically for me, not just like love-wise, but planetary-wise, this is the last week of Sagittarius, so, ooh. And then we've got Venus leaving Capricorn and coming into Aquarius, where it's going to like that a lot better. So there's definitely going to be a massive shift this week with the sun moving signs, and especially because when the sun joins Capricorn, it's going to join Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, of course, in the south node. That's a lot of energy. We're talking about the biggest energies. Sun and Jupiter are right next to each other now. Saturn and Pluto are meeting up, which is a very rare and intense transit. And we've got K2, the south node there. And then we've got Mars and Scorpio, of course, which is starting to get to these upper decks of Scorpio, which is pretty intense.
Right.
So there's definitely going to be a lot of I'm predicting a little bit of sexual tension, and Venus coming into Aquarius brings a little bit of rebellion.
I did come home though on Friday to a couple amazing gifts actually. So I wanted to give a shout out to Starry Ari. She made me this beautiful necklace, represents Thor's hammer. And it's also got some black tourmaline on it. I forgot what the other stone is, but black tourmaline's my favorite. And also, I get some crystals sent to me from my friend over at Wild Moon Tribe. She's in Australia, and I'd bought some awesome pieces from her, and she sent me a little Christmas present. So thank you both very much. You can find Ari, she goes by Starry Ari, Toltec Shaman on Instagram, and Wild Moon Tribe on Instagram. So you should check them both out. Awesome product, awesome people. So thank you much, ladies.
I know. So as Craig and I had our date Saturday night, he showed me that piece from Starry Ari, and I was wearing my black piece from that woman from the UK who sent us that. And mine, when I was taking it off when I got home Saturday night, broke. So,
Well, shit.
like I'm like, oh man. And it's just like it's like, I don't know how I'm really, I'll be honest with y'all. I love jewelry, but I break that shit every day. I break so much jewelry. So I am now without one, and you have one. So I'm happy that the energy is now transferred over to you.
Well, thank you.
I will continue
sir.
wearing the old school.
Yeah, you got like 50, so I think your neck's all filled up. I don't want you hurting your back,
if you've
pulling
never
you
watched
down.
the show before, we do a collective reading about what's going on with love. We're going to look at the cards, and of course, we're going to look at the three astro dice, the sign, the house, and of course, the planet. And then, of course, we have the high vibe red cup that allows us to find out what sun sign we're going to do after we do the collective reading. So that's a lot that we do on this show. And I just kind of went over the collective. I'm predicting definitely a lot of release, especially when it reminds me, and this might sound a little personal for people, but it reminds me of World War I, or even more, mainly like World War II, when pressure starts to come into life, right? Like, did you ever see the movie Enemy at the Gates with Jude Law when he's a Russian?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch Enemy at the Gates, bro.
Oh, next Saturday.
I know. Every war movie I've watched
next
ever.
Saturday I'll come to you.
All right, next Saturday you should come to me. You can come to me and you can watch Enemy at the Gates with me. And this really, actually, it's a very emotional but not very sexy sex scene, where, like, there are these Russian soldiers in war, and they're fighting the Nazis, and they're trying to hold Stalingrad, because that was one of the main battles of the Russian Nazi, part of the World War II.
Yeah.
And he meets a girl who is the girl from, did you ever watch The Mummy?
I did.
So the girl from The Mummy,
Okay.
okay, with Jude Law.
No Brandon Fraser this time.
No. I know. Because she was hot back in the day. She was hot in The Mummy.
I mean, she's probably still a nice looking lady.
She probably still is, yeah. But so anyway, they're, the pressures of war and stuff. And they all have to sleep like in these tunnels, like in like not even sleeping bags. There's just like some blankets or whatever. And like they have a moment where it's like all the pressure. They don't know. They're about to go on a mission to go kill like they're snipers, and they know that this next mission they might die. And they're being like the main Nazi SS general who's like a sniper guy. He's trying to find Jude Law because he's killed so many Germans. So they know he's after him, and they know they're looking at him. So they have this like 20-second kind of like pump and dump sex scene. And I'm not saying it's going to go that way this week, but I'm just saying that there is a little bit of that.
What's going on here?
What I'm trying to say is that when there's pressure, there's a lot of pressure in the world, right? That it doesn't matter how crazy life gets, that love seems to find a way, or when it seems tense, like they found a way to still make love, and there was like other soldiers around and shit. Like it was like kind of a weird environment, and like there was bombs going off and dust going, and there they are like
embracing
getting it down. They didn't even get all their clothes off. All that mattered was at least, just taking off what you need to take
Sometimes
off. Sometimes
that's the best. You leave a little clothes on.
But I'm feeling like that, of course, not in that exact way, but as far as the idea goes of like, some release has to come somewhere.
Some good old-fashioned quickies. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't even think it's quickies. It's just the whole like pressure of the world. We need to make love. But you have the energy to actually not be in a tunnel, in a sleeping bag, and with a bunch of people around or something, unless you're at a burner event or
lightning in a bottle or something like that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let's see what's going on with the collective. So actually, what am I going to do for cards? What do you think I should do for cards this week? I think the first card I'm going to pick this week, oh man, I don't know. You know what? We're going to switch things up. We're going to go
decisions.
We're going to go like this. We're going to go Oracle into, we're going to go all Oracle, and then we're going to do the spiritual advice as Rider Waite. We're going to go backwards. Even though I always like Rider Waite first and everything.
Well, that's the Morgan Greer deck. It's
I know it's Morgan Greer, but it's just
I mean,
traditional.
you got to give them some credit there.
Yeah, okay, Morgan Greer, traditional.
It's lovely.
Like real tarot, you know what I mean?
That's a deck that I learned on of yours, so actually I have two of my own decks.
Deal tarot. Okay, we're going to do this enchanted deck first. Let's see what's the spell deck. And we got enchantment. So what are we trying to enchant in our lives this week? Definitely is going to be a main thing, but you got to use your enchantment. So, you know what? You got to get those gifts out. You got to get those emojis going. You got to no dick pics. You know what I mean? But just saying that to the guys out there, that really doesn't enchant a woman. But this is definitely going to be a week where you're going to have to tap into, how do you enchant what you want? How do you find that quality that brings that sparkle to yourself? It starts with yourself. So you're going to have to make yourself sparkly. You're going to have to make yourself attractable. Like I don't even know if that's an adjective that I could use. Attracting, but attractable. And you're going to have to find a way to really kind of pull the energy in that you're looking for. But, I know it kind of feels like sales, right? But I feel that there is a little bit of like, you gotta show up and kind of, this is not about using spells, this is not about using anything like that, but this is definitely about like, how do you make yourself shiny and sparkly enough for those eyes to turn towards you this week for the lover that you're looking for? And if you're in a relationship, of course, collectively, this is where I think a lot of relationships are really finding which ones are the ones that are enchanting enough to even pursue and which ones are kind of lacking in that space. Our challenge that we got for this week is the Divine Feminine card. Ooh, that is a weird one to get after enchantment. So, having the challenge of the Divine Feminine is definitely like, we want to be shiny and everything, but we still want to hold a deeper spiritual quality to it. Like, I was laughing about a joke earlier, but it's like, I don't know, guys, we really don't get plastic surgery, right? Like, but girls can get like fake boobs and stuff. And it's like, it's like kind of like, hey, show off your boobs kind of energy. But it's like Divine Feminine is kind of like, this isn't so much about like the more mundane kind of like, like, I just gotta look hot, but you gotta spiritually connect with your physical aspects, and if you miss that Divine Feminine of your power within yourself, of the energy that you're trying to show, there'll be something lacking. So you can't kind of like fake it till you make it kind of energy. Like Divine Feminine means that you're owning your feminine energy, you're owning your beauty naturally inside too. That it's not just a physical aspect or an outer enchantment, that it's an inner and outer together that's combining. Because I love in the Divine Feminine card here on the Sacred Symbols Oracle deck is there is this double moon squishing into the sun. So there is like a dual energy coming towards that masculine. So you're kind of like compressing both sides of soul, spirit, and physical self together with enchantment. But that's a challenge if you're just going to go off one, or just off spiritual, but also kind of like show up and like look like haggard. Ain't gonna go too well. We got desire. This is our future outlook. So this week there's definitely, and I felt it. I mean, I was saying weird kind of energy kind of coming up when it comes to people just really wanting to feel and express, and there's a lot of heat coming this week. Woo, this is gonna be intense when it comes to relationships and the desires that we want and the going for those desires. So there's gonna be a lot of desire to go towards, but are you ready for, I think the other part of enchantment is kind of like, as being a magi or a magic, like you have to put on, they always say, and I have a lot of old magic books, but you got to like put on a character, like you put on a robe, you put on if you notice even in this deck, right? Like, they always are wearing some sort of costume. It's like you got to put on the costume, but you also have to put on your true self and be ready for this to step into this desire. And that other side has to as well. Like you're going to be able to know and be like, you know what, gosh, here I am showing up fully, but is this energy showing up fully, inner and outer? It just can't be just showing up, but then something else on the inside not going on, or just showing up and everything on the inside is going on, but not showing the outer. And that could be a conflict this week. If you're going to try and connect to magical desires, people got to be willing to go inner and outer too. So prudes spiritually and prudes physically. Which one are you not combining both with? Like, you know what I mean? Have you ever heard of that before? Spiritual prudes?
I'm just going to be an all-around prude, I think.
Yeah. But I think that there's kind of like, there's prudes that are like, oh, they'll talk spiritually about it all day, but then they won't physically do it. And then there's prudes that are physically doing it, but they can talk spiritually.
Hey, don't talk about it, be about it. It's easy to just kind of run your mouth.
And the way to get through this challenge in our overall card, Spiritual Vice, is the Six of Pentacles upright, which is, again, this balance. And I think that it's interesting that we have to be willing to give. If we are connected within both of this divine energy and this enchantment and our magic and our true inner and outer selves, then we have something beautiful to give. And I think that this week is about finding people that are in a place where they're ready to give because they're ready and they want it too. They want to give as well. And this is about two energies that are meeting up to give this week, or multiple energies, whatever you're into. But there is something to say about a collective energy of like, you have to show up this week into a way to where you're able to provide your love. You're able to provide it. And whatever is in the way of that is probably some divine feminine blocking, whether you're blocking your heart, whether you're blocking your heart chakra, whether you're blocking your emotions, whether you're blocking just the ability to just step up up because you're afraid of stepping up. This is going to be a big week in order to get the desire you want in your life and a beautiful magic enchantment, especially here with this as being the last week of the sun in Sagittarius, where this can open up quite a lot of doors. We're going to have Mercury square Neptune as well. So, this is where people can doubt. And I think that this is where we're going to see where our blocks are this week in order to for us to combine all together so we can start to show up and see more of the love that we're all looking for in our lives. We did get the Neptune die. We got the first house, and we got it in Scorpio. So guess what? That is enchanting what we want in our lives. I mean, especially, Neptune and Scorpio. I mean, Neptune and Scorpio is all about like knowing how to really spiritually tap in and mystify and draw in what we want. And it's the first house, what we want, our identity. And our identity has to be in a position to draw it in. Like we have to be willing to be seen. We have to be willing to have courage and step forward. And we have to be wholesome within self and defined to show up. So if you're not defining what you want and you're not defining what your spiritual is, or you're cloaking your identity too much, or you're projecting an identity, but you're not able to own that, it's not going to go down well. But if you're able to be that true self and show up as that true self, bam,
boom,
looking pretty good.
Boom, baby.
What do you have to say about that?
About which part?
Just the reading.
Oh, that was quite lovely. It was very, very on point, Mr. Palmer, tonight.
Really?
I think that you touched big on the whole prudence and the spirituality prudence, and I mean, that comes down to living your authentic self. And yeah, I mean, I guess if you're just going to talk about it and not be about it, then that might be authentic to you, but don't try to portray that shit onto other people.
Dang.
Boom.
All right. Craig's on it tonight too. Maybe we should have date night once every 6 weeks to watch South Park.
Every Saturday for the next 30
Pisces.
years.
Pisces up in the house. So what do Pisces got going on? This is the last week of the sun in their 10th house of career and big choices in their life. Venus coming into Aquarius in their 12th house. Pisces are definitely going to have to look at relationships, where the blocks are, what is holding them back from the love that they want in their own self, their own subconscious, possible drugs, especially looking at the people they're around with all this 11th house energy. So come on, Pisces, like wake up a little bit. See who you're around. What are your issues that are holding you from love? You're going to have to kind of deal with it, I think, more than other people astrologically. And
I don't want to jinx you, but I must say you've been doing a great job with not dropping those astro dice. So good job.
You know what? I mean, after, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, I better be getting good at it, but I think you just jinxed it. But whatever, I mean, we'll see what happens.
A boy can dream.
Rebirth. Yeah, I felt that. Pisces are coming into a rebirthing this week because whatever's working is not working for love for Pisces right now. And you got to rebirth yourself, and you got to look at the setbacks that you're dealing with in yourself. You got to deal with the spiritual issues that you're in a spiritual crisis when Venus is coming into the 12th, but you do want to, you're going to have to like take off the veil. You're going to have to really go deep into the soul, and you're going to have to like see what are the blocks that are holding you from love. What does your world look like? Are you disassociating from society, or are you involved in society? Or there's another part, if you're involved in society, like who are you hanging out with? Are those the energies that are going to draw on the people that you want to connect with and love, or not? And where is your path? Have you stepped into your inner authority of choosing your path with the sun in here, and Mercury, of course, still in Sag? But what's interesting too with Mercury square Neptune, I think that Pisces are definitely questioning their path and who they are. And so this is like, the question is coming up because you have to change majorly. You have to have a major rebirth from the inside and out so you can start to draw in the love that you want in your life. Because this could also mean that maybe, if you have a partner or you're looking at somebody, it's like maybe they need rebirthing. But again, this is kind of throwing the shade off of you, which you do really well, and putting it onto others by projecting onto somebody else about your own issues. So I'm not going to kind of say that, but you could be drawing in partnerships that need rebirthing because that's what you're projecting, because that's what you need to do in yourself. Your challenge card for this week, wow, is the new moon. Yeah, there's something difficult about this rebirthing process because you are also having to kind of step into a whole new cycle in your life, emotionally and spiritually. It's interesting that the solar eclipse is not this week, but it's next week. And for you, it's in your 11th house of people. So this has to deal with your energies in society and friendships and groups. And I would say that that has a lot to do with the rebirthing process. So it's like, even if you're not around people, that's probably part of the problem. You know, social anxiety is real. If you need help, go get it. Or if, you know, you're just like kind of don't know where to go. Well, trust me. I mean, I know Pisces are very sensitive, but I mean, I live alone in the middle of a city, and I have no problem walking around the streets and just, I meet people randomly all the time. So, you know, there's a little bit about just like, you know, or sometimes, you know what, especially when I lived in Hollywood, I would just like literally just go sit in a restaurant and go sit by the bar. And like the next thing you know, you're talking like 10 people, you know, it's like, there's something to say about let the universe allow you to kind of kickstart the new you and allow yourself to be willing to show up into the world. I think a lot of what I'm feeling here is about, not only is it a rebirthing, and this doesn't mean to pull yourself out of the game. It means it's your rebirthing to put yourself into the game more, because you're somewhat pulled out. And I would say that that's what part of the issue is. A new moon energy, we always try to retreat more in. A lot of people think new moon energy is like, oh yeah, it's exciting because it's new moon. It's like, well, it's an inward energy. The sun and the moon are coming together, kind of wanting to be on their own, kind of wanting to reset the fertilization of something. So there is that kind of like retreat in, and that's a problem. And we're seeing a rebirth, and a new moon is a rebirth. So we're seeing rebirth twice. And so, you know, even though you want to retreat in, the rebirthing is to rebirth to come out, right? The egg wants to come out of where it is made and come, you know, into the uterus. We got Black Moon Lilith mystery. Yeah. You know what? A lot of this is like, you need to go step into the mysteries more and your fears. And you need to also step into a little bit more of your edge now of what you desire and you want. That's not toxic, but you need to go into the mystery more, the things that you're afraid of more. And Black Moon Lilith, especially Lilith herself, like, don't mess with her. Like, she knows what she wants and she doesn't say no. So when it comes to love this week, it's like, why are you continually not rebirthing yourself and just doing what you want and going for what you want? It's like you're afraid to go for what you want. I think it's because of the changes that you need to make in your life and yourself that are the fear, not the person, but it's projecting as the person, or it's projecting as this kind of outer energy, which that needs to stop. And your spiritual advice that you got here is the Page of Cups reversed. So, you know what? You're not having a good time. I think that that's part of the issue. You're not willing to communicate the way that you want to, or you might be dealing with people who are retreating from you because maybe you're not showing a more positive side of things. You're not communicating what you really feel. You're blocking your true feelings. You're not allowing your true feelings out to people. You're holding a lot of feelings in. You got to stop holding all these feelings in, Pisces, because it's not working anymore. This rebirthing process, like, even if you have to go through a breakup this week for partnered, there's a lot of like needing to rebirth now, needing to make a new change. And Page of Cups reverse is somebody who holds their emotions in. They're not letting people know. You know, Page of Cups like is a very positive energy. And ironically enough, if you see, it doesn't matter which deck it is, there's always a fish in there. I'll show it upright so you can see it, Pisces. You know, it's like, you like to be in a magical, exciting time. Why are you not doing that? You're in reverse with the new moon in your challenge position. You're in a place where you're not willing to speak up, let your emotions be felt, and not be ready to rebirth that. And with Black Moon Lilith there, I mean, Black Moon Lilith, she'll do cocaine at your grandma's funeral. You know what I mean? If that's what she wants, she does it. I always use that analogy because, like, that's something that not a lot of us in the world do, right? Like, we have our limits in life. Black Moon Lilith told God, fuck you, I'm doing what I want. She was actually the original wife to Jupiter, and then Juno took over, and Juno became the loyal one.
What do we got on those dice today, my friend?
I forgot about those.
That's why I'm here.
All right, we got North Node in the 7th house with Taurus. Yeah, I think a lot of this is self-worth in relationships that need to be focused on, and your own confidence in your own self-worth, and also choosing partners that are going to better your life instead of partners that are easy because you feel comfortable being in the same self that you always are. So if you constantly keep going back to exes, or you keep going back to people that you're comfortable with because, you know, there's this kind of energy where they're not asking you to make a change and it's not fair, and you kind of have the advantage, like, that's not going to work. This is about fair. This is about, you know, especially when you get the nodes on an access point, it's really extreme. So it's like, you're going to see that this is about focusing on a betterment of yourself, your self-worth issues, and how to find partners that are going to better your life. And you need to make some calls about that now. And there is a beauty element to this with Venus. ruled Taurus, and in the 7th house, both Venus ruled with the North Node. There is something about not only the beauty in yourself to take a look at and to kind of maybe rebirth, but also in the beauty. And when you look at your partner, like, is it really resonating with the same energy, or the person that you're going after, does it really resonate with the kind of beauty that you want to represent in yourself?
Yeah, or too, like, what are you not showing up for? You know, you definitely do touch on that whole transformation with that Black Lilith following the eclipse there. So it's like, where have you not been showing up maybe in your life? You know, who have you not been talking to that maybe you should? Or if you are letting people take advantage of you, you know, cut that shit out as well. But maybe you're the one taking advantage of people, in which turns that ain't too fair either.
No, I think you're right. I don't know. It's, I was reading in the chat. Some people were like, "Oh no," but I think it's time for Pisces. You know, they deserve the Disneyland and world they want. North Node is in their 5th house, Cancer. Like, come on, Pisces. Like, real love, not just like illusionary love of like being held back and in jail. Pisces hold themselves in their own jails a lot. Who do you think is next?
It's easy to do. Don't feel bad, Pisces. It's easy to do.
Capricorns are next.
Who is it?
Capricorn.
The Cappies.
Oh, Cappy energy, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just about to.
Yeah, and if you all can definitely share the video right now. It gives a lot of people in here. We really appreciate it. Always to get as many people in the chat. I'm always, checking through the chat, and if a question comes up or if a comment comes up, I'll talk about it. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid to do that.
We ain't scared.
We ain't scared. Like, David, my heart is holding space for you always, soul brother. Thank you so much, Sacred Dragon. I really appreciate that.
Well, there you go.
High Vibe is holding space for all you all the time. And the individuals in High Vibe, everybody is always holding space for you all the time.
Maybe Soul Dragon come watch some South Park with us sometime.
Yeah, Soul Dragon, you want to watch some South Park sometime? Dana says, I need to start messaging people back more. LOL. Well, there you are. Here's your sign. Although I think there's been a lot of that going on. Mercury and Sag kind of gets like lost, in a lot of text, and people start to, the problem with Mercury and Sagittarius, what we're in right now, is it's a detriment because it's opposite of text messages. It's opposite of all those things. It's like journey to the person. Like, stop creating excuses of like, like you feel like the message is far away, right? Like whenever you have Mercury and Sag, it's like, I don't understand where this person's at. It's like, because there's so many options that you start looking at. It's like, stop projecting any idea of somebody. If they don't text you, they don't call you, like the old days, you would just go journey and be like, what's going on? Like, why do we not do that anymore? Like, I don't understand that one. Like, I did it the other night to Craig. I was like, hey, what are you doing? I'm gonna fucking cruise by. Like there's something to say about like Mercury and Sag is about like, you have to go experience what's going on to understand it. So instead of like waiting around and continuing to just play games with texts and all that shit, you just go and you find out. So Capricorns, they got a lot going on. Happy birthday, Capricorns, coming for you this weekend, big time. But let's see how it goes for you. This is gonna be a big time for you to make some major changes in yourself. We've got Mercury still in Sag, going to be squaring over to Neptune in Pisces. So there is a little bit of questions for you that are really hard to answer about, what you feel is still holding you back. I think that you've come a long way into, changing your life. But love-wise this week, this is, really potent when it comes to your own life, your own self. Venus coming in your 2nd house. What do you value? What is not really looking that good anymore? Like literally. All right. Capricorn, you did pull the protection card. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting reading. I already feel it, Capricorn. The protection is, are you protecting yourself? Now, a lot of people always think of protection as like, oh my God, I need to put walls up. I need to like protect myself from something coming in. Sometimes it's about protecting yourself about what you have by actually making the choice of, like, it's kind of like I don't know why my guides are saying it. It's kind of like a prenup, It's like, do you have a prenup? Like, how do you protect yourself? Like, because you're getting out. Like, what are you going to do to protect yourself? Like, do you have an out strategy? Do you have an exit strategy? And then you want to kind of protect your energy because you don't want to deal with all that crazy energy. Or just, you got to be careful of who's coming in this week. Capricorn, there could be people that are really don't have your best interests, and I would watch out. There could be a lover this week that comes from the past, or you're in a love relationship that gets jealous of you because you're deciding to move to some other direction or something like that, and you just want to maybe play it safe and not cause some people get dramatic. Capricorns, even though they're very tailored and so forth, trust me, they don't mind a little bit of drama. They got Leo as their 6th house ruler. They like a reality that has drama. That's what keeps them achieving higher. And why do you think Capricorns want to reach the top? That adds drama to their life. They like it. So it's gonna be interesting. I honestly want to see what this challenge card is. Kind of understand this protection. Gratitude is the challenge. So, wow, this is a weird reading. I would say that this is going to be a weird week, number one. 2, I think that this is, there's a light that you see that's positive that the universe is trying to bring you, Capricorn, but it's almost like either A, you have put walls up, B, you're grateful for what you have, but you're also feeling guilty and trying to protect something that you maybe don't want anymore. So it's one or the other. You're protecting yourself from having something great coming in, and then you have something that's great, but you feel guilty, and you're trying to protect some candle that's about to, a candle in the wind, or some Elton John,
We got a little Marilyn Monroe action.
Yeah. I mean, well, I just think it's imagine you're grateful for what you have in a relationship, let's say, but it's you don't want to be there anymore. So you're protecting it in a weird way, and even though you're grateful, you feel guilty, because I think that gratitude actually in the challenge position is you feel bad about something that you were grateful for at once, letting it go, and as if you're bad for blowing that candle out like you shouldn't be. And then there's another aspect for Caps where it's you're protecting yourself from beautiful light to try and come in, and sometimes you're protecting yourself from goodness, and you keep connecting to energies that are not good for you, and that, but it's wow, a real light shows up in your life, that's good. It's I don't know if I'm ready for that. It's maybe that's an issue. Maybe, you need to drop that protection so you can actually have gratefulness, and then maybe the protection that you have from that is actually causing a lot of the problems in your life, especially the protection that you have of holding on to something that's really not part of what you really want to have in your life. Wow, we got 8th house endings and beginnings. So this is the future outlooks. This is Capricorns need to make some big choices here about what to put an end to and what to start, but you always see it with the 8th house. This is a card of death. This is a card of rebirth. This is a card of dealing with, where our desires lie as well. So, again, it's and I keep getting this. I think that a lot of Capricorns are protecting really weird situations that they feel guilty if they get out of them. They feel guilty if they're stuck in them. And I think that, you got to learn to be okay to let it go. And then those that are completely, especially 8th house has to do with borders, boundaries, and, trust issues, that there's definitely a lot of, trusting yourself to allow something good in. And there's 2, look at this, there's 2 cards dealing with boundaries. And there's this beautiful candle. Gratitude is the challenge. It's you're afraid to let something good in, and you're afraid to let something that is not the light out. It's you're keeping it in. You're keeping it in, and you're keeping the light that you really want from coming in. So,
yeah, it's almost an extent they're possibility extinguishing their own flame by not letting that in, by not allowing to take any risks or stepping out in the world. It's you're actually smothering that own flame instead of stoking it and letting it burn.
Yeah, if we were to use kind of an animal analogy, it'd be okay, let's say you love animals, but you have a 1-bedroom apartment and you can't have 40 cats. Okay? So on the shore hoarders. So you're I'm going to keep protecting these cats, but they've overrun your house, right? But it's maybe all you need is a dog, just one dog. And it's maybe you need to just give these cats to the shelter, like a rescue, and they'll find homes for the cats, because what you really need is a dog to help you out, get you out of the house and walk around and go to the park and all this kind of stuff, right? And it's I don't want to do that, and I want to hold on to these cats and just stay with them, and I'm not going to do that. It's there's relief, and it's not there's 40 owners waiting for these cats, because there are. That would be kind of a good analogy. It's like that simple. It's like, just make the shift, make the change. A lot, like get rid of what you don't want. Stop pulling in energy that is not of the light either, because I'm picking up with an 8th house and a gratitude some dark people, some people that are like jealous, anger, criminal, just people that are not, or just like, let's be honest, they have a dim light. And you can tell people the dim light, they don't have a smile on their face a lot. They're kind of moping around a lot. They're kind of trying to prove themselves in ways that aren't of their inner light. Wow. High Priestess card reversed as your spiritual advice over that challenge, which, yeah, it's like, what the inner guidance is telling you, that it's like you keep getting signals from the universe, but you're not choosing to listen. Your intuition is totally right that, you're dealing with dim light situations and people, and you're dealing with people that you shouldn't be with. And then at the same time, you're also, you're really kind of lost in kind of creating the story, if you're single and you're not letting anything in, that it's more about nobody is good enough or nobody is showing up, when that's totally a lie. It's like you're also not showing up either. So into the world of this, like you're kind of trapping yourself in a weird situation, which might not even be a person, just might be like you feel like you need to be like giving gratitude to these other things instead of gratitude to yourself, or accepting of love like itself. We did pull Saturn in the 3rd house, and we got it with Libra. So yeah, this is about getting down to the brass tacks, the nitty gritty, when it comes to making authoritative, communicative, fair, and precise, communication, understanding the environment of the relationship and seeing if it's healthy or not. And if it's of an adult, more, like growing, is it growing, and is it good? Is it stable, or is it unstable? And is it not fair? And is it not beautiful? Like, this is going to be where Capricorns need to speak up their truth, and they need to speak up this truth in a fair way. And that's all they have to do, and they'll be fine. But there's a lot of fear to that. Saturn the 3rd is a big lesson. I was born with it there, like about how to communicate and what to say and how to say it and how to be responsible with your communication. And especially there in Libra, there's like a part where it's like, Saturn's exalted there. So Saturn likes to be the judge of the jury. So again, not creating the judgment within yourself so much, and also not projecting that judgment on others, but still judging the situation of a fair and equal truth that maybe you don't need to express, but you just need to say, like, this is the direction I'm going, or this is what I do want to bring in, and these are the facts, and this is what it is, and I want that stability, and I want that greatness, and you want to grow in your life. So interesting.
Yeah, sometimes the word like judging can get, like a bad connotation behind it, but you do have to judge. You do have to see, is this going to be right for me? Is this not going to be right for you? So it doesn't always have to be like some bad thing where you're judging someone or you're judging a situation. It's like making an educated decision on it. And that's all you need sometimes.
That is all you need sometimes. And sometimes you just need another sign in the cup. Tauruses.
Abigail, listen
Abby.
up.
Whip, whip. And by the way, for people who watched last week and thought that we screwed you over with Taurus, literally, I don't know what happened, but the whole entire computer just crashed. First time that's ever happened. And all the streams to Facebook, to YouTube, and to the app went out. So we could only redo it on the app. So we did it on the app, and we put it for free. The show is free. So by the way, you can always watch this show and a lot of other shows for free on our free apps, highvibe.tv, or just go to any of the app stores and type in High Vibe TV, all 3 words separate. Who are we doing again? We're doing Taurus. Yeah, okay.
The Taurus.
And the Taurus is looking good.
The Toro.
They got a lot of energy coming into the 9th house of expansion and growth and searching new doorways and being a little Indiana Jones. Indy. So Taurus, this is a time for you to expand. This is the last week of the sun in your 8th house, and Mercury leaves here quick, and you're done with all your trust issue shit. So, man, that's been a long time with trust issues. So, I think that this is a monumental week for Taurus. And I think this is a monumental week as well with Venus coming into Aquarius, also finding, relationships that could really, go the distance with you, like more than just love, but actual business partnerships or, same goals or more goal oriented or something actually that could turn into serious, somebody who actually could be serious. So,
oh, the Taurus is going to find some love.
well, let's see what the cards have to say
freaking
first. But that was the astrology. I always use cards as like a validator, but let's see. They got faith. That's where Tauruses are at. They got to have a little bit of faith, and not faith in the Santa Monica bathrooms like Boy George had. But
Boy George.
And George Michael, didn't he got caught in a Santa Monica bathroom having sex?
Yep.
Don't have that kind of faith, but that's a little too much faith. You know what I mean? A little too much trust. Like, oh, we'll be fine. Let's just have sex in the Santa Monica bathrooms by all the bums, and that was before the internet.
Sometimes you gotta tap into your weirdness.
But there is something where I think Tauruses are at. You got to believe again in love. You got to believe in love. And I think that you have to have a faith. I think that Tauruses have that faith, but when I say my prayers every night, when I say my prayers every morning in the shower, I reaffirm my faith, my beliefs, my prayers, my values, my gratitude, and also the things that I ask for God every day. So I know. And so God knows. And I ask. One of the biggest lessons about the 8th house is you have to ask. And I think people forget to ask God, right? Like Taurus especially is the opposite of the 8th house. So it's like, I can do it myself. I can do it myself. I can do it myself. I could build it myself. I could, it's like, ask God. And I think that's one of the biggest things about faith is like, ask God and then have faith that it will come. But are you asking God for what you want? And are you really specific? I remember when I was trying to manifest a relationship when I first started doing all this, and I did a vision board, and I had a picture of a girl, and I put her up there, and I was like, I kind of want her to look like this, and I want her to be spiritual, and I want her to do this, you know what I mean? Like, where's that vision? Do you have that vision of that person in your mind, Taurus? That shit does come true. So, let's see what the challenge is. Protection. You know what? You finally got the protection card in the right place. You're overprotective. So whether that's overprotective and not leaving your house to overprotective and not letting anybody in as far as just like energetically or trying to just talk away the person, like, kind of like, I don't want to deal with you. Or sometimes that could also be kind of like, I got something else going on, and then like avoiding a plan to secure yourself in. Right? Like, oh, I already have something at that hour. Or it's like, let me meet you for coffee. It's like, really? You want to show that you are open. And I think that this is a time for Tauruses to not be afraid of that. And to have faith and to not feel like they need to have some sort of protection around themselves. Let God do that. This is a big question about God and Taurus's lives, about faith in love and protection and trust. And this shows in these two cards right here. And it shows in the astrology as well. Wow, and they got the 3rd house. So you need to also communicate more and continue communication instead of ghosting. I feel a lot of ghosting going on with Taurus right now. Whether you've been ghosted or you are ghosting because you've been ghosted, it kind of is a cycle, right? When somebody ghosts you, like then you ghost somebody else. Like that's kind of the pattern of like how I see in a lot of love relationships.
It's a vicious cycle.
Isn't that a vicious cycle? Gosh, especially here in LA. Oh my God. But
that shit ain't cool.
No, it is not cool. Just because somebody, I can honestly say I've never really let love trauma get me in my life. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm Leo. But so I don't project, like if somebody does something bad to me or something, I'm not like, well, I'm going to go do that to someone else. Like I'm aware of like what happened, and I'm aware of like, I'm just going to continue I think the best way to show somebody, if you want to try some vendetta against somebody, is to do quite the opposite of what you'd think a vendetta is. It's like being the role model of what they could have been. You know what I mean? Instead of being the role model of what they were. And so I think that this is, continuing communication with people, continuing to speak your truth, continuing to be in environments. Third house has to deal with, the community around being, or it has to just deal with your local environment. Like, where are you pulling people from? Well, if you're in your mom's basement, not going to fucking pull a lot of people down there. And, so it's like, the third house rules cities. Like, do you go out into the city? Do you go out and do something fun? It's Gemini, it's like, woo, let's go do something quick and fun and easy. It's like, and also being lighthearted. Third house is very light. It's a cadence house. It's a house where it's like flirting, having fun. Like, and I think that faith has to transfer now into doing the simple things about love. Simple things about love are flirting, showing up, having fun, not being afraid to say, like, I like you, right? Like, it's so simple, but yet, it always becomes such a big thing. Like, oh God, like, I like you? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, avoid that. That's the plague. Run away. It's like, have fun. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how many times I've told a girl, it's like, gosh, I can remember telling a girl I liked her in 7th grade. She's not in my life now. That's for damn sure. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, it didn't work out, but at least you communicated and you found, and I have faith, and I don't feel like I'm fucked up because of that, Ten of Swords reversed as the spiritual vice over that protection. So that's what you keep doing. And this is where this has to stop. Ten of Swords always has to deal with, of course, just repeatedly sticking a sword into a dead person as many times as you can, which is insane, right? Like, why? It's dead. It reminds me, I watched the new Rambo this weekend, the Final Blood, I think that's what it's called, or Last Blood. And there were scenes where Rambo just, even though the stake is through the guy's heart and shit, there's Rambo just like pumping 16 rounds into the guy still. It's like, he's dead, bro. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, he's dead.
Sometimes you got to put an exclamation point on it and just kick
okay.
some ass and take some names.
I'm glad you brought up exclamation point. So the exclamation point that that Tauruses have to stop doing is over protection. Like, there's an exclamation point over trust and protection. Like, exclamation point. It's like, take that exclamation point off and maybe get out a fucking eraser and erase protection and trust off this love thing, like, for a minute, and just see what happens. Like just try it. Just like take away protection. We're not talking about condoms. Keep that protection around, but the protection of your soul's ability to have faith that something exciting could happen, and the trust of what people say, because that's a big one with the messages. It's like, you almost are not trusting what anybody has to say, or over questioning what people are doing and what they say and how they. It's like, you just met the person. Let them show themselves. Sometimes, especially if you're a woman, like, guys, we're idiots. Like, we say shit because fucking we say shit. I mean, sometimes, especially if we really like you, we'll just like, when we get all our emotions and our communication, right? Like, we'll just like, blah, yeah.
I say right off the back, I say pay attention to what I do and not by what I say, because I just say some random shit, whatever comes to my mind, So
did you just say wrap the bag?
Pay attention to what people do. What's up?
Did you just say wrap the bag?
No, I said pay attention to what I do.
Before you said that, I thought you said wrap the bag.
I don't know. Wrap the bag too. Wrap it up. Wrap it up. Definitely.
So
no. Yeah.
Isn't that what female condoms would be kind of be, like wrapping the bag? Like, because it's more of like a.
It is like a bag.
It is like a bag, right?
Yeah. Fits like a bag.
I don't know. Wouldn't that be a different world? Since divine feminine is everywhere, instead of you seeing male condoms everywhere, it'd just be feminine condoms everywhere.
Well, apparently.
Have you ever thought about that? Like, I've actually thought about that. I'm like, okay, if we're really switching all to all this feminine energy, and feminine and feminist really are like, fuck men and all this shit. It's like, okay, well, how about you wear the condoms and we don't?
They do. They have them.
That's what I'm saying. They have them. So why don't they wear them? And the guys, we get another 2,000 years where finally we don't have to wear fucking. I think they were wearing lamb skin back in the day.
Same. It's the same feeling at the end of the day. But apparently it's harder to get the women condoms because they like weren't making enough money. So you have to kind of like get like a prescription. You have to get them from behind the counter now.
Well, there's feminist groups out there that are getting plenty of money to do a lot of other things. I'm sure they can call up Trojan Condoms and just be like, hey.
That's true.
Like, get men's off the shelf. We need women's on now. It's unfair. It's like, all right, beautiful. Fucking, there's a million things on that feminine list I would love for them to have, and then just take the men off the list on that. And hey, that's one of them. That's actually a fucking really good joke. And if anybody steals that, you know where it came from first. Leo, Neptune, 5th house. Wow, you need to go dream and have some fun. You need to lose yourself into ecstasy. I love Neptune in the 5th. I was born with that shit. That shit is fun. Love to me is like the most magical ride at Disneyland. When I was a kid and I used to go to Disneyland with a date, I didn't give a fuck about the rides. I gave a fuck about the date. You know what I mean? The date was magical. Like just fucking buying a churro and fucking making out with a churro with her. It was that was a date, you know, like that was way more fun than Space Mountain or fucking being at Disneyland. I was just like, I was just happy to be there with a date. I was in the magic of love. And especially a Leo, Neptune in the 5th. Man, Taurus, don't blow this one this week. You better be blowing kisses.
So the women are saying try taking some birth control there, Mr. Davy boy.
Yeah, but that's still not, if you're meeting somebody new, are you just going to go fuck them without a condom? Like, come on.
I mean,
birth control?
It happens.
What, do they think they're porn stars now?
It happens.
In the chat? You guys all porn stars? Fucking like, fuck it. I'm on birth control. Fucking come inside me. Fucking. You know? Oh my gosh.
Holy moly. What a lovely day it is in the neighborhood.
That's just some truth. I feel that's actually good comedy too. Cancer. That's good comedy. It's truth though. You know, nothing is better than comedic truth. Comedic truth will always win.
So cancers.
Chat room, bunch of porn stars now. Fucking like, yeah, that's why we have birth control. It's like, well, okay, yeah, that really go tell that to Charlie Sheen.
No, they're saying try taking birth control. Like that's what they have to do. You know what I mean? Switch up like men.
They don't have to do that.
Birth control.
They don't have to.
It's true. They don't.
They don't have to. Like, there's condoms.
There we go.
I know people who have been on birth control and were wearing a condom and still had a baby.
No glove, no love.
I know that. I will not say, I just know. I've heard stories. Recently, another one too. So, shit happens like that.
Shit does happen.
You know? And the milkman was not involved.
Well, they're bringing the milkman back, actually.
Huh?
They're bringing the milkman back to cut down on the single-use plastics out there. So
well, I heard, you know, because
coming back.
The birth rate is going down, right? So I heard they're just going to bring milkmen's back to just fill up the milk, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, people are waiting. I mean,
what would happen? Like, I just want to say this before we go into Cancer, since Cancer does rule the mother and so forth, and 1 in 3 couples now have difficulty having a child, which is like a new number that's staggering. Like what if it got to 50%? What if it got to 75%? Okay. Now, we can go into conspiracy theories all day, from vaccinations to what's in the food to that people are not fully in love and having alien babies. But what would you do? Would you bring back the old, like, would you get more pool boys and more milkmen to keep knocking on women's door every day and just like see what happens?
Yeah, I'm here to clean the pipes.
like make sure that those charts of those guys that were that way, that like you would just be like, all right, dignified sun, dignified moon, or dignified Mars, like people who are of exalted planets and dignity because they're breeders. Just make sure that all those guys are lined up and just be like, all right, you're a milkman today, you're a pool boy. You're a milkman today, you're a pool boy. You're a fucking plumber and you're a fucking electrician. Go.
Spread the seed.
Fucking man, I have
Spread
a crazy
the seed, young man. Spread the seed.
Make a great reality show. Remember there was cheaters? So imagine you didn't let the people know that they were like, there's no guy seeing if their wife's cheating, or no wife seeing if their guy's cheating, or no, gay couple seeing if their partner's cheating. But it was just like, let's just go see.
Just throwing people out
and you
there.
So you could do it for girls too, right? Like you could throw to guys' house, like if they're married, like at their works, right? Like be like, I'm like the new secretary that's like, here they got the corporate office called
That's such
me
a
here.
fucked idea.
And just like, see what happens. Like, that would be an experiment.
That's entrapment, brother.
That would be entrapment, huh? Well, not if it was a crime. It's not a crime.
That's true. It would.
So,
Would
you
they
know
be
what I mean?
paid though,
Huh?
or would it just be for free?
It'd just be for free.
Just for free.
I mean,
Some free D.
hey, it would be a test about like where really people are in their relationship. I have a theory that,
What's this theory? Let's hear
and
it.
it's a theory because I don't want to trigger anybody, but the theory is that the reason why the birth rates are low with the 1/3 of new relationships that are trying to have babies is that they're not really in love. That they're in love for all the wrong ways. Like they were in love because like they wanted to get married to show off to their families, to have the pictures on Instagram, to just kind of prove that they're doing it, opposed to like actually being in love. Like I believe that children come through like love. Like sure, sex happens and kids happen. Like okay, but like I feel that like if there's no real love, like if like like a love child, that's where they get the whole idea. Is like that you were a love child. Like that was like I love you. Bam.
Oh, back
9
in the
months
day
later.
too, it's like they could have easily
Like
been
the
going to war.
explosion
and-
turns into a. That have you ever thought about that? Like that's what happens. Like the other side of it is like there's an explosion on both halves.
Boom.
Man, we are on a roll today. All right, Cancers. Oh,
Cancer.
I was about to just go into the reading, but like Cancers are the biggest relationship astrological transit of any sign to ever be alive in the last 740 years. I think that Libras were close when Saturn and Pluto were in the 1800s in Aries, but even then, this was more intense with Jupiter. So I would say that in our lives, at least, I can guarantee you that out of every sign in the zodiac, the most complicated relationship issues going on are with the sign of Cancer. So it's extreme because it's about making choices. It's about not blocking true relationships and love, and also not holding on to relationships and love that you don't want to be in. But it's like there's major hardcore choice. Like, it's insanely intense. And with the sun adding to that quality to this week, with Venus leaving their 7th house and going in their 8th house this week, like there's all this need for the truth and the real desire, and whether they're holding on to the right thing or denying themselves, of like making it impossible to be with, because that's another Cancer quality right now, is kind of like the single ones are like, no, like they're making it hard, like they're too protective, it's got to look this certain way, they got to show up like a fucking interview, like Capricorn, like it's not a fucking job interview, it's love. Like, let's see what happens, Cancer. I'm praying for you all. You got clarity. So you need to be clear on what you want in your life. You need to be clear to other people too. You got to be clear to your partners, and you've got to be clear. And instead of kind of like, because whenever we have this clarity card, there's some uncertainty on some other, whether it's your partner or on the other half, and within yourself. But like clarity only comes from speaking clarity and just being honest and letting that clarity out. It takes vulnerability, but clarity brings things into motion. So I think that there's a lot of unclear energy because you're too afraid to be real. Like, you're just too afraid to actually truly express your feelings to whether it's yourself or to all parties or to your, you know, whatever situations you're dealing with in love. Like, this is where you just have to be honest about what the clarity is that is there. Like, you know, like, it's almost like staring at a window and there's just a bunch of goop on it, and it's like, fucking get the Windex out and clean it off. And don't be so weird about it because, like, I don't know, you're afraid of seeing what happens if you are going to be clear. Like, be transparent. Find that clarity within yourself and be clear to other people where you're at instead of holding that in. Because especially in this card, whenever you see this clarity card, you know, there's some interesting things on here that it says. It's like, it's got echinacea, ginger, rosemary, St. John's wort, thyme. Like it's kind of like a medicine. Clarity is a medicine, right? And it also is a preventative from getting like a cold or a sickness or a bad energy. Like, your heart, your love life can go sick by you not being clear, and by you afraid to express your true emotions, and by you afraid to just act upon the truth of whatever. Like, it doesn't matter if you just got married last week. It doesn't matter if you just got in a relationship last week, or if it's been 40 years, or if you're, you know, single and like you have great things, but it's like you're like becoming like the problem with Cancer is it becomes like an old lady or an old man, like a grandma or grandpa with relationships. It's like too traditional, too old school, and Pluto's trying to say, stop all that shit. This is not 1760 through 1776. That's how Cancers act about relationships. And if you ever watch the movie The Patriot with Mel Gibson, they put on a chastity belt for that girl that Heath Ledger hooked up with. And then and then, you know, it's like this is not the 1700s no more. Now, I know some Cancers that are quite the opposite, right? Like, some Cancers are just like, woo, right? But it's like, then it's like, okay. Then there's that other part where it's like, you obviously are not wanting like something serious. So it's like trying to find a good middle, but it's about just being honest with yourself and allowing and not blocking love, and also not blocking what you want in your life by feeling responsible to stay with something that you really don't want to be in at all, that's causing disharmony and unclarity in your life, because you want a clear life. There's medicine to this. Your challenge this week is the knowledge card. So there it is. You think you know everything, but you don't. Or you're like, I don't know what to do. And you do. You know what I mean? It's like it flip-flops on both sides. There you are with your beliefs being like, I can't do this, or I want this, but I'm unsure. It's like, no, you're fucking sure. Shut up. You're clear. So if we're getting knowledge is the challenge, and there's clarity right before it, you know, but you're not acting on it. You're trying to act fucking dumb, right? It's like acting like you don't see what you know, acting like, you know, I don't know. Like, come on. You know what the fuck's going on here. And if you don't know, then get the clarity instead of just sitting in I'm going to stay in a space where I don't fucking know. It's like, that's not fucking going to do shit for you. And it's not going to do shit for other parties. And you might lose other parties of it because nobody wants to be dealing with people who are unclear. And your deepest fear is losing somebody. Your deepest fear is losing out on a person or a person leaving in your life, Cancer. But there is that fear that you have to face because there is this like, I don't know what to say or what to do or how to do it, or I do know, but you know what, I'm going to act like I don't know, or I'm not going to be clear in what I know, or I already know how this should be. It's like, come on. There's this belief system situation that is all messed up here. And the challenge is that you're bringing your beliefs in this kind of textbook, literally textbook way to deal with it. Love is not a textbook situation. There is no textbooks on love. There is no way on how it should be and how it should look. It should just be the clarity of whatever you feel and the clarity of how that's going to be. Wow, you got the 5th house. You need to go have fun and have creativity and go to the love of your life. It might be a little dramatic, though. There always is with the 5th house drama. I love how they show the theatrics to it. But
yeah, we got Michael Myers up on there.
What'd you say? On the clown?
Yeah, Mike Myers pretty much is what it looks like from here.
Well, there's a couple clowns in this one. I don't know if you see the guy that's creeping right here. Kind of looks like the Saw clown a little bit.
It's trippy to look at that one.
I know. Well, it's carnival.
I'm gonna have nightmares
and
now.
You know, I think that it's like, you know, I know that maybe you're afraid of a circus, but underneath all that shit that's going on, the clarity is you do want like a powerful, fun time in life. You want to love. You want love. Mars is in Scorpio. Like, come on, that's your 5th house. And it ain't coming back here for 2 years. With all this relationship shit, this is the moment for Cancers. This next 3 weeks is your like major, what are you doing with your love and romantic life? Do not wait any longer. Like you do, like, I don't think you all realize, like, it will never come back like this again. So if you're going to stay stuck in a shitty situation, you're fucked if you don't do anything about it. And if you are single or if you're in a shitty situation and you see another situation and you're like you need to make a choice. You got to fucking, and you can't play this textbook. Like, well, I should do this because this is how the book says. It's like, throw the book out the fucking window and go into love and find clarity and let that come in, because guess what? Boom! Look at that. I fucking knew it. 3 of Cups. Goes over that textbook, and then look, you get clarity, you get the joy, you get the love of your life, and you get the fucking creativity in the 5th house and the love that you want. And then you're going to be surrounded by all the joys in life that you've ever wanted and all the benefits that you want. Hello! It's fucking simple.
Yeah, we'll get some happy clowns.
Man!
Some smiling.
Man, I'm trying to help Cancers out. They think I'm always like blasting them. Like, I'm just like, hey, my ass is in Cancer. I'm July 23rd. You know what I mean? Fucking, my ass is in Cancer. All right? I'm July 23rd. I get Cancer very well. I'm a fucking crab lion. I'm a real cusp. I'm 0 degree Leo. So, I get Cancers very well. Stop throwing the textbook shit. Stop acting like you don't know. Be clear. Go fucking towards the love, the true love, whatever that looks like. Throw out all the textbook of what it looks like and how and what, this is a blah, blah, blah. You're supposed to go have the time of your life right now. This energy is never coming in your life. Mars in the 5th with this much in your 7th house. Ever again. Ever. It's never coming again. You got a couple weeks left, but you know what? Again, Cancers love more time. Just give me more time. And I get that, but by then, maybe the other situations that you see are gone. And I know that Cancers need a lily pad to the next relationship. So I don't know if you knew about this, but Cancer risings, Cancer Venuses, Cancer moons, Cancer suns, like they need, when it comes to relationships, like they need to see the lily pad to the next fucking relationship. There's no way they are going out until they see that other lily pad. That's just how they work. They don't go single, and then they don't go like, I'm single, and I live alone in an apartment, and I'm just going to go start dating. The ones that do that end up like dating themselves for years and 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 years by themselves. You know, I just called some Cancer shit out. Don't fuck with me. I know my astrology. Fucking Capricorn, Mercury. So Capricorn is the relationship house for you with Mercury there in the 10th house. Wow. You need to start fucking thinking about your long term right now, about relationships, and picking relationships that are actually going to help your business, help your long term goals, and get to the place that you want in your life, get to the ship you want, get to the destiny that you want. And you need to be clarity, and you need to communicate, and you need to go take a risk. You need to take a risk on what you really feel. Why are you so afraid to take a risk? I don't know why Cancers are so afraid to take a risk. It's like, fuck.
You got to allow the abundance to come into your life and show up. What is it that you truly want?
You know what? I just need 1 second to have a little.
You
give me your opinion on this, because I just need to
decompress?
sit back and hit my jewel.
You need to decompress
No
a
camera
little
on me
bit?
for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I think it completely makes sense with the book and letting go. And it's like, yeah, you touched on it. There is no book on love. There is no right or wrong. You love what you want and you don't love what you want. But you got to allow something new to come into your life so you actually can feel that. So you can actually express to what you do want and what you don't want. Because if you just sit back and kind of go over that same mundane every single day, then there's nothing new. There's nothing that's going to come and shine in your life. And you're just going to be sitting in a dark closet all by yourself at the end of the day. So, did you decompress over there? Still decompressing?
Yeah, I'm just,
Did that one throw you off a little bit?
Well, it's
Get you
funny because,
rattled?
like, I'm a channeler.
You got your ass in Cancer.
Well, I got my ass in Cancer, but that's a whole other deal. It's like I'm a channeler, so, like, sometimes when the messages come through and it's so clear, and I know the astrology, and it's like, this is a love show. This is a show about love and relationships. And there's a couple signs that have more aspects going on in this area than others, right? Like, it's like the scales are tipped more for some signs, and some signs there's like nothing, right? Cancer is the one that has the most about relationships, and with love with Mars in Scorpio, which is dignified. So they have this powerful love position right now. They have the Saturn, the ruler of their relationships, with Pluto, with Jupiter, with the South Node, with Venus, and with upcoming the Sun. So, and an eclipse on top of Jupiter. So it's like, as an astrologer and a tarot reader that pulls stuff like that, and a channeler, it's like, I'm like, my guides and whatever, all the spirits that are coming through me are just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, that's the message to Cancers. Cancer Venuses, Cancer risings, Cancer moons, Cancer suns. Like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah, I've seen people say that they want love, but it's like, what type of love do you want? I mean, it's easy just to ask the universe for love, but you got to kind of be more direct. Do you want a love that stays, or do you want a love that goes? Do you want someone that loves and appreciates you, or do you want just someone that says that they love you? I mean, there's many levels of that. So be a little bit more exact when you're asking that universe, because they might just kind of, it's like the genie in the lamp type of situation. You know, it's like you ask to be rich, but then, you know, you get like embezzled money, and then you become rich, but then you go to jail. You know, be exact and precise with what you want, so you're not getting screwed over at the very end.
Yeah, true that. That's a good one. Who's next? Who do you think's next? Anyway, good luck, Cancer. I gave you my best right now. Oh, fuck. Leo.
Oh shit.
That's how it works, though. My ass is in Cancer, and I'm a fucking Leo, so of course shit's gonna come up. Great.
Great. Some Tony the Tiger shit right there.
Hey, let's test the Mandela effect. So, Tony the Tiger said great, right?
That he did.
And what was Tony the Tiger from?
From Wheaties? No, he wasn't from Wheaties. I don't know. What was he from? That's a good question, actually.
So I was pulling some, but Craig was right. On South Park,
Wheaties, right?
No, Tony the Tiger was from. There was a cereal. That was
cornflakes.
No, they had the fucking creepy ass corn fucking rooster, right, or whatever. Cornflakes. Remember?
Yep.
Then there was, what was the Cocoa Puffs? Was the Dracula?
Cuckoo. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
And then
no, that was Count Chocula. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs was that
yeah,
weird
but it was
bird
like,
too.
yeah, but he was his Dracula.
That was Count Chocula, player.
I know. I'm just saying, like, but they're great. What was it? Wheaties?
Frosted Flakes.
Frosted Flakes.
How many of y'all had to Google that? That's what I want to know.
Frosted Flakes.
Out there in the chat world.
Like fucking
Frosties.
Right. So, all right. So Leo's, all right. So last week of the Sun in your 5th house of love and romance and self-love. So time's running out for Leos. You got to pray for a miracle here. Sun comes in Capricorn this week, which is all 6th house, which you kind of come into the mundane of day-to-day basic boring life. So you almost want to bring the love energy of your life into your life. So because it's great. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of career aspects. Mars in the 4th. There's a lot of emotion that's intense. And you know what? Tonight is my Mars return, by the way, everybody.
Oh, perfect.
In Scorpio at 18 degrees. So,
you know, like a Scorpio party,
my Mars
baby.
is out. My Mars is out. I will eat your fucking face. And I will frost your flakes. All right. What was I going to say about Leos? Oh, yeah, that's pretty. Oh, Venus coming into Aquarius this week, too, with the Sun in Leo Sun in Sag, just for a second. Sun in the 5th, Venus in the 7th. It's almost like last minute, something's happened for Leos this week with love. The universe always does give Leos that little bit of extra juice at the last minute. It's just truth, folks.
It's true.
We'll see what we got here. We got luck. All right. All right. Leos, you got some luck coming through. And you know what? I was just saying that, like, last minute juice, even this luck card is in a martini glass. It's like the last minute. I don't drink anymore, but and Jupiter is in this card, which is interesting. Jupiter's in Capricorn, but trying Uranus, the ruler of relationships for Leos. But is that a bowl too? No, that's not a bowl. What the fuck is that thing? This
is there cannabis
card.
on that card? Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's a bunch of. I mean, she's obviously rolling balls at the club, like
nothing wrong with that,
and jumping into a martini glass, like, and there's like a bunch of crazy shit going on with her. But you know, there is something to say about luck this week for Leo. So, but luck plays out however it plays out. Like, instead of you determining how the luck should look, luck shows up the way that the universe wants it to show up. So. Just know that luck is coming this week, and just like you'll know when the luck is there. So instead of looking for it constantly, just know it's going to show up. And go do the fucking like Leo thing, and just be a Leo, and just know luck's fucking coming. You know what I mean? Nature spirit. So the challenge is connecting just with like life again, like basic life. I always look at the nature spirits card as like reconnecting just with life, you know, like you got luck coming. So why are you so focused on the luck or so focused on what this is? Just like keep doing your life. Focus on your own, you know, connection with nature. Like, you know, like go do things that make you feel good. Go do things like nature spirits doesn't have to necessarily mean like, okay, you got to go hang out with a tree, you know, like nature spirits can be anything from, I don't know, if you like music, do music. If you like rolling the window down, like and getting some air by the ocean, that's what I like to do that. Like whenever I need to reconnect, I just like go drive on PCH. Like I am from California, but if I lived in North Platte, Nebraska, I'd be
living my best life.
I would be hanging out by the lake, fucking in North Platte, Nebraska.
Campground. Shout out.
I'll shout out we both will shout out North Platte, Nebraska forever. It was one of the best stops on tour last year ever.
Yep.
But I will say, or even Nashville Shores, I got an email from them today.
The spot.
That was a nice spot too, on the lake in Tennessee. But you know, like, go focus on that kind of shit instead of avoiding that kind of shit. That's like when luck comes, is when you're in that space where you're like, I'm just reconnecting, and then boom, luck shows up. You get the phone call, or you get fucking, I don't know, maybe some fucking beautiful person rides their bicycle into your car. What? And then it's like, oh, let me help you. And it's like, hey. I was about to say like how a cat falls out of a tree, fucking, or cat gets stuck in a tree and the firemen show up, you know? It's like, oh, this looks like a shitty situation, but really, oh, wait, like maybe you're the fireman and the cat's owner is fucking hot, you know?
Oh, we got someone from North Platte, Nebraska in the chat.
Oh.
Shout out to the Lion Essence, whatever that is.
Well, we pulled the Saturn card of truth as you're going to get the truth this week of what's going to be built and what is not going to be built in your life. So you get luck, and then Saturn is going to make this thing happen, or not. You know, that truth is going to come out this week. If you've been looking to figure out a situation, make a decision in yourself, or have another person step into authority, or you step into some sort of authority, like this is going to be a big week for that. And with Saturn in the 6th house, you know, there is this kind of like how to then integrate love into your life. And then maybe that nature spirits is coming up, like reconnecting with nature might be able to help you see how things will certainly work out, or where the luck is coming from, or what changes you need to make in your life. But Saturn is very good, actually. Believe it or not, you might all think I'm crazy, but Saturn is very good for relationships for all the signs out there. Saturn aspects, even if it looks negative in a composite chart or in a synastry chart, Saturn is what creates relationship. If you don't have Saturn aspects, even in negative ones, you're not going to get love like the best way, like, because Saturn is what keeps the long term of a relationship going. And 5 of Wands as the spiritual advice over nature spirits. So it's like, you know, there's a lot of people and at different angles and odds here, but the advice is that's okay. There's a little bit of tension here, and you need to, go. There's a lot of passion going on. Let's just say that, and there's a lot of, this could even be, especially like a lot of different people trying to fight over you at the same time. So it's like disconnecting. It's not easy being a Leo. You can get fought over and shit. Like everybody wants a king or queen. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of part of the game. Remember that. Remember that you can be fought over because you're worth it. Not meaning like people go fighting after you, but it's like there could be lots of options, or there could out of nowhere be this week where it's like, remember that who wants you the most? Who is willing to go through some crazy shit to do that? Because, 5 of Wands is like, there's quarrels. And are you ready to go through that? I think that's why it's like, if you are like, and you're connected to nature, it will be all right, but there's definitely going to be, there's something to say, like there's going to be an intense week for Leos with the luck, but it's going to cause some unique drama, and it's going to drop you into some Saturn truth and some realistic aspects. It's not bad, but definitely stepping into like something of realness. But that usually comes, like Leos kind of feel this when they're spark. 5 of Wands is definitely very sparky, and a bunch of energy around you's got a lot of spark. So and how does that all work, or how does everything fit together? It might feel like, the advice is like, if it's starting to feel like there's all this energy and how does it fit together, that's how you're in the right space. Like, that's when it's like, yeah. Because it's almost like if something was just to be so easy and just slip in. And I think that's why nature spirits is the challenge. Is like, you just want this to be easy, your love life right now. But it's like having a little bit of a challenge to it, and having a little bit of like, to kind of fight for it, or to actually go through some alignments that are all over the place, actually is what makes a Leo energy thrive in love. We got Virgo, we got Neptune, and we got the 8th house. So, woo, Neptune in the 8th, with Virgo. Yeah, so this is where a lot of revealing has to go on. A lot of truth has to come. We did get the truth. We do have a truth card here. We got Virgo, though. Interesting that we got Virgo. The moon will be in Virgo this week. So I feel like through the moon in Virgo, you're going to go through a lot this week, especially about, where do other people sit with you? Where's the truth of that? And where do you sit with other people? And what are you ready to commit to? And what are you ready to not? What are you and learning to receive, there's another part of that too. Instead of you going out, because Virgo is the ruler of the 2nd house for Leo. So it's like, this is teaching you literally to receive what you need. And what shows up for receiving? Like, you've shown up, you just need to learn to receive.
Yeah, we're all worthy to receive, and that's something that I think everybody needs to work on too, is that whole worthiness in yourself, and knowing that you are able to receive whatever it is that you want in this life, because literally you can do whatever you want in this life. Receive. But yeah, speaking of nature, I was telling Abby earlier, actually, I've been, as many of you might know, I've been dealing a lower back sciatica issue this whole entire damn year, and it's finally well enough as to where I'm going to go on a nice long hike this weekend.
Where are you going this weekend on a hike?
I don't know yet. I haven't decided.
What do you mean?
I haven't decided. I'm going to pull up All Trails, which is an amazing app for hiking. If y'all don't have it, you should download it, All Trails, and it points out every single hiking location that's near you. So that's what I'm about to do.
Boom. Virgo. Wow, we just did Cancer, Leo, Virgo in a row. And, this thing is not rigged.
Alrighty. Virgo's
got all this Capricorn in their 5th. So this is one of those signs that has a lot going on for relationships. Virgos. 1, all this energy in Capricorn is the 5th house of love and self-love and happiness and romance. 2, Neptune in Pisces is in their 7th house. And we are going to see Mercury square Neptune this week in their 4th house. So this is a lot of like sensitive emotions and relationships in the mind and not knowing how to deal with it. But it's like with the sun in the 4th finishing, come on, Virgo, like Are you going to let emotions block you from relationships? Or are you going to go step into the authority to have the love that you want? Like, come on. Are you going to be honest about the love that you want? Are you going to step into love more? Or are you going to block yourself from love because you're too emotional? And with Mars in the third, you got to think clearly and you got to communicate and you got to know your boundaries of what to communicate. And also you got to speak up and say what you want because nobody's going to show up. Or if you get offers and you turn them down or you don't respond, like, guess what, Virgo? You ain't going to get shit.
Ain't getting nothing.
Nothing. You ain't
Got
gonna get
nothing coming from you.
nothing. Nothing. You ain't getting hey, Adrian. You ain't end up with a fucking Lipton fucking tea fucking commercial. Hey, Adrian. Prosperity. Come on, Virgo. A lot of prosperity trying to come your way this week. If it ain't prosperous, it is preposterous. You like that one?
Yeah, it was good.
That was on the fly, too. If it ain't prosperous, it is preposterous. You know, you need to prosper here. Prosperity is waiting in your life, but that is something that you must allow in. What is the issue about being prosperous? Like, why take anything that is preposterous?
What was the one that you were working on for?
Oh, don't even try. Oh, it was on the weekend report.
Yeah.
It was, I forgot.
It was preposterous, whatever it was.
No, it was about being spontaneous and
Yeah,
spontaneity. Spontaneity.
What is it?
Spontaneity. I don't know. How do you say it? Spontaneity.
Spontaneity, I think.
Spontaneity.
I think you had it there.
Spontaneity.
Now I know my ABCs.
So spontaneous was what I was just using, but in this form of the sentence structure, spontaneity was where I was trying to go towards. So Virgo, come on. I mean, this one's pretty clear. I don't really know how much clearer I can be. You can either have prosperous if it shows up, or you're dealing with the most unprosperous situation ever. This is a little bit like mining for gold. Are you going to stay mining where there's no gold? Or are you going to move? I know I'm using fucking a lot of California analogies, but this is Neptune and Pisces, and Neptune and Pisces was the induction of California into the United States, especially when it was found, 1848. So with the 49ers, like, you have to remember, like, if there was no, and that's where we get prospecting, okay? The prospect. These are all words that came from Neptune and Pisces. So prospectors, okay? You need to think of like yourself like mining for fucking gold this week. And if there's no gold and you've been mining here for a long time, you need to move to a new plot of land. Let somebody claim jump that motherfucker, because guess what? That person's fucking not gold to you. And there was no gold there. But if you have this like plot of land that's got all this gold and it's showing up and saying hello, have fun with sitting in your land without that. Somebody else will claim jump that shit quick. Wow, look at you. Your challenge card is shifting. You are not ready to shift, are you, Virgo? You are not ready to make any shifts in your life. You are just, you know what? You think what you have is already prosperous, and you already know that it's not. But you're just afraid to make the shift. You're dealing with too many emotions. You're not ready to shift the relationship if you're just in a relationship and it needs some shifting and changing to be more prosperous, more happy, and be more joyous. Like, you can't keep doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe your partner's bored of the way that you expect it to be. Right? Or, like, especially if it's just going against your soul and spiritual, emotional nature, like, get the fuck out of that. Like, you know what I mean? But in general, I don't care what's, version of Virgo you are, partnered, single, just got broken up, on the brink of divorce, whatever. You're still afraid for the shift point to make it better, whatever it is in your life. To bring in somebody new if you're single, to get out of a relationship that you know you should to, or change a relationship that's gone stale, or whatever. You are just like, no, I don't want to shift. No. You got the Taurus card as the future projection here, and you know what? You need to go towards that quality, baby. You got prosperity in Taurus. Oh my gosh. You could have something great. You just got to make the shift. Why are you so afraid? Why are you so afraid? We're going to find out right now. Oh, of course. Of course you're afraid. You're afraid of trying. You're afraid that you'll lose. You're afraid that you know, Five of Swords reversed is like somebody who's not trying hard enough, not willing to try, right? So it's like predetermining it won't work or the shift won't work or whatever. So I'm not even going to try. It's like you're going to just lay down your swords and just fucking not even fucking attempt. You know, if I were to fucking, think of it this way, if there was really an alien baby apocalypse, like maybe my premonition comes true that these alien babies from all these relationships over the last year that stayed together, that knew that they shouldn't, and they have their alien babies, and they all come out as aliens, and they all start killing everybody, and there's no more water, and there's no more food, okay? Would you not shift to getting out of your little Virgo world and going out there and having to find food and water and like and picking up the sword and going? Of course you would. You're a Virgo. You'd be stressed out. You'd be like, I need fucking toilet paper. I don't care if it's an alien baby fucking apocalypse. I need toilet paper and I need paper towels to still clean. I need Swiffers. Go. It's like, you know, I would love to make a movie about alien baby apocalypse, because the Virgos, but it would be like the list when you know, when there's always the guy or the girls that are like, hey, we're going to the grocery store, you know, but we're going to have to like, who's coming, and we're going to armor the car and get the shotgun and you get the knife, you know. It's like, what do we need? We need food and we need water. And then the Virgo would go, paper towels, Swiffers, get them. You know, it's like, oh my God, it's like, we don't need to clean that shit. It's like, yeah, but everybody's been taking a poop in that bathroom for 3 weeks. It's like, oh, you got a good point. So,
Swiffer.
You know what?
Young Swift.
Okay, Virgo, when it comes to love, why are you so afraid to shift? Of like, I bet you Virgos right now are not cleaning as much as they usually do. Maybe you're like laying around too much. Maybe you're, you know, I don't know. But it would be like, how long do you go till it's like you're going to have a panic attack and an OCD attack because you're like, this is fucking just all jumbled all over the place. Ah! That's where you're at in love, so you better fucking make some changes here. And you better not fucking throw down those swords and just fucking, you know, the Five of Swords is somebody who's weak. Like they're just like, I won't do it. It's like they give up, you know. Don't give up.
Don't ever give up.
You got third house. You got Sag, and you got Saturn. Saturn and Sag in the third. It's time for you to expand your thoughts and get out of this cynical thinking and explore and test your data. Like, okay, so maybe you have data. Maybe you're like, this won't work. Okay, go try it. I dare you, because no scientist, no Virgo that has ever lived on this planet did not start believing in things and cynicism without it being tried out, right? So, you know, as a Virgo, it like needs to be, that's why it rules the sixth house. The sixth house is, believe it or not, it does rule sciences. It does rule, you know, where you got to test theories. You know, like that's where it gets tested. It gets stress tested. It's like, hello. So,
hello, McFly.
Like the hoverboard. Like, okay, is that really possible? Well, let's try and build it and let's see. There is a fucking hoverboard, believe it or not.
Well,
do you remember? It was a big deal. It was like 5 years ago. Fucking, it was all over fucking Facebook and shit. It was like fucking that motherfucker made a fucking
now too.
The same fucking board that's in Back to the Future. Shit is, everything is fucking possible, Virgo. So don't even try and tell me this week, no, I can't. I don't feel good. You're covering up for your inability to fucking shift because you're being a baby. Sun in the fourth, Mercury square Neptune in your fourth and your seventh. And you got all this Capricorn that's telling you to grow up and have fun and be a fucking little kid. But no, you still want to be a baby.
Just a little baby in the manger.
Just a little bit. Hey, you know what?
What?
Fat bastard eats babies. Baby back, ribs. Don't let fat bastard on his way over to your house. Ooh, give me some baby. Wow, this is weird, Gemini. I was about to say, like, we went that way. Now we're at Gemini, so we're at both Mercury signs now. A lot of weird little synchronicities going on.
Must be a sign that this is a fantastic show.
Huh?
So it must be a sign that this is a fantastic show.
Yeah, it would be awesome if we broke 1,000 people.
Oh, we've got over 100 people on Facebook also, so, technically. We're going off
We are at over
technicalities.
1,000, but, people could share this video so we could really get a lot of, I like it. Let's take somebody's little chat thing here. What happens if you are not attracted to them? Craig?
To who? Someone that you're dating?
I
Probably
guess.
get the fuck out of there.
Or
then, if you're
somebody, I
not
guess,
sure.
that's trying to come after you.
Then you should say no.
That's it's pretty
Politely
fucking
or-
simple.
I mean, if they're being
get
over-aggressive.
whatever that you got, whether you got orange juice. In my case, I'll hit my jewel. Just like as the caterpillar did in
just say
Alice in
no.
Wonderland, and just be like, no.
That caterpillar was smoking hashish.
Who are you? No, if
Ooh.
somebody's coming after you and you're not attracted to them, then why are you fucking...
Stay away.
Yeah. It's like, well, or you just be like, hey, I think we're cool as friends, but it's obvious that you like me, so there's going to need to be some space for a little bit because you got to put some boundaries up and be like, yo, like, not going to go that route. But, like, what the fuck? Like, why even, like, I don't know. Maybe this is what, because Leos are teaching, so every sign is teaching all this Capricorn stuff to something. So Leos are teaching Virgos how to be Leos, right? Because that's what Virgos are learning, right? So it's like, but Virgos are teaching Leos how to be Virgos, right? So it's like, if I could teach Virgos anything, it's like, I don't ever fuck with anything I don't want. Like I don't just go hook up with somebody because I'm not attracted to them or that I'm sorry. You ain't gonna see me fucking doing that.
Well, I mean, you can be attracted to someone on like the energetic level too. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have that physical connection always. I don't think so. At least, like, if it just clicks and you just like have that same wavelength, then who's to say that? That work
I don't
out
know.
too?
Yeah, I think it's like a Leo sun thing. If I'm not attracted to it,
Well, I mean, obviously, there's got to be some sort of attraction on the physical realm, but
there's something about being a Leo where it's like I won't be caught dead on a street corner with somebody that I wouldn't be wanting fully.
I ain't talking about on the street corner.
I'm talking about like walking around like in public, like I always use the analogy of a red carpet event, like that's where Getty pictures are taken and all that. Like sorry, you know what I mean?
Too bad, so sad.
Well, I don't think it's sad. It's like if I'm not attracted to somebody, then why would they want to be with me if I wasn't attracted to them?
Not the other person.
Oh, well, that's
Maybe
how.
in their next life they can get it.
Well, I mean, that's just how love works. I mean, I think that everybody has like an attraction to some position. I'm just saying that like there's a lot of positions to where that love, like, could be. I mean, I don't know. Like, but I'm just saying that if I'm not attracted to somebody, I ain't gonna fuck with that at all. Like, it's just like, sorry. Like, I'll be nice, but it's like, nice. It was a good time hanging out with you. Take care. Like, I'm on my way to find who I'm attracted to. Like, that's like real life, right? Like, yeah, no, it's great talking to you. Fucking, fucking, get in the spaceship. That's our phones, right? Like, my God. Who's next? Gemini.
Gemini.
Oh, shit.
They've
So
been
Gemini's
waiting
last,
patiently.
wow, Gemini's, this is a big one for you too. So here's another sign they've had more going on when it comes to this whole relationship thing. They are sign for a while there with Jupiter, but now it's in it's for Cancer. So, but a Gemini, they do have the sun still in Sag this week and Mercury in Sag. So there is still a lot of relationship stuff going on for Geminis, but it's all 8th house now coming, which is obsession, sex, desires, and so Geminis are definitely hungry, I guess you could say, and at the same time realizing that, the relationship choices in their life that they have to choose and make need to be a lot more than just their hungers and desires, but also meaningful and have some sort of depth that's beyond emotion, but in physical reality and make sense for their reality. This is going to be an interesting week for Geminis, especially Mars and Scorpio is like also ones that, for them with Mars in the 6th, it's like that have the same passionate lifestyle as them. Like if their lifestyles are not passionate in the same way, like Gemini is out. Like Gemini is looking for its twin in every kind of relationship, friendship, lover, family member, anything. They're always looking for, well, can we both go do this together? Yeah, you like that? Okay, I'm down. But if you want to like know how to catch a Gemini, like I could totally teach you how to catch a Gemini. Like you better fucking know exactly what they like and know how to fucking twin them in that. If you can't do that, they will piece the fuck out. They won't even deal with you. They will not call you back or anything. I have mastered the art of Geminis. I'm done with the Geminis though. I'm just like at the moment just done. So I've mastered Geminis like fucking. But I'm just saying that all you gotta do is just twin their like. Or Leos are the only ones that know how to tame a Gemini because Leos are entertaining enough to almost sell Gemini a life that makes sense for them. So it's like, oh, like that's exciting. Like, they need to be excited and pulled in. I just gave away some secrets there. It's some secrets of the universe. It's like, that's some Magi shit. I'm in my Magi cape tonight anyway. Fucking. All right, Gemini. Success. You need to think about, does the partner you're choosing right now or that you're in bring you success? Do they appreciate the success that you bring? And are you putting yourself into a position that will ultimately lead to success? And an overall energy of this week, starting this week, is there is success in the kind of relationship stuff that you are looking for. But, I think a lot of this is having to say that, the only way to success is to process and to regress into understanding all the steps necessary to get to success. So you can't miss a step. You can't want a boyfriend or a girlfriend and skip certain steps to get there. There's something about also trying to reawaken things that were not successful and trying to be successful at them. That's not going to work. So you've got to realize that success is there, but success takes some steps. Your challenge is the psychic card. Oof. So one, I think that this is going to be a weird challenge. One, your intuition about certain people might be off, especially when it comes to the success of it. Two, if they do not appreciate you in your spiritual life, your successful, or your spirituality, or that your psychic awareness, you want to run from those situations, Gemini. Anybody who's not on the team of any of the psychic work. Three, I think that it's this can kind of twist your psychic ability into where you're creating success in any situation psychically, when it's you need to actually see, and this is because you have an opportunity to be with some really successful people this week, but do they hold, when you look behind, do they hold secrets, or do they hold something that your guides are run, don't get into this, this is dark, especially with all this 8th house. There's secrets, there's people trying to, as I was talking about how I know how to reel in a Gemini, there are successful people this week that are going to try and reel you in, and you don't know if they have the best interest for you. Especially, this is psychic attack. This is incubuses and succubuses that know what they're fucking doing to be careful of. You need to be careful of that shit this week. Just because they got a verified account or something, don't make them fucking successful, nor does it make them fucking worthy of your success. And you need to pay attention to the psychic awareness of that. Wow, you got South Node, karmic debts. You've got some past shit you got to still deal with. So you're dealing with new energies that you need to make sure that you know they're right. And I think you might need to go through a couple. Like, just because one successful situation shows up doesn't mean like you need to hammer it down. You need to look at other ones too and see which one psychically makes sense. But there is something to say that, you know, this South Node popping up, there is some karmic energy coming here of the karmic ending. You know, K2 is dealing with endings constantly, okay? And we also, it deals with illusions. And this is, you know, your natural comfort space. And because we have the South Node in the 8th house, again, here you are. What can I get from this? If you're starting to come into that space this week, you're going to fail. You're going to fail from what can I get from this? What can I gain from this relationship? You need to be looking at relationships as a fair and equal partnership of not what you're getting, but what you're sharing. And what you're sharing in the way is of what you bring to the table, and not about what you're going to receive or what benefits you're going to get, but just like that's what all you're focusing on is the success of what you bring, and their focus is what they bring, and together it's something great. And you're not even looking at it like, well, what are you showing up with, or what do you have? Because when Geminis get all caught up into that right now, that's going to be like you're trying to use, or if you're using somebody for success, you're going to pay the biggest debt of your life. So, like, Gemini, come on. I'm going to be honest. This is some trickery going around, and you're part of it in yourself. You're actually drawing in these incubus and succubuses to try and gain something, but they are going to steal your soul to get where you need to go. Holy shit. I felt that. So, this is the 8 of Swords. This is not a good card. And the spiritual vices, you know, especially with this is like massive psychic attack, but this is also massive, you know, like this is the universe intervening and saying like, you need to pay attention to what you're doing this week, Gemini, with your relationships. There's way too much karmic shit going on. That there's way too much delusion and illusion going on. There's way too much. You're trying to reach success by doing all the wrong things, and that will actually bring you toxic energy, possible psychic attack, and even draining your energy, making you even possibly physically sick. You need to pay attention to your physical symptoms, and you need to pay attention to things to make sure that you're psychically aware of all this shit, because this is fucking gnarly. I'm going to pull another card because I want to give you, oh, wow. Fucking, what do you, I mean, ay. You know, I think that Geminis just need to wipe everything out in the relationship life personally after this reading and just start from a brand new space and just kind of learn to find your own independent success on your life right now. There's a lot of traps this week, massive traps. And you have a chance to just cut all your karma out so you can bring something new in for this big shift in your life. And I think that you're going to have to see that you just learned a lot of big lessons in relationships. And you got 10th house. Wow, again, this whole success thing. Saturn in the 10th in Pisces, delusional, successful risks. Or, you know, selling your soul for success. Or somebody of high prestige. Or not paying attention to the steps that you need to take to get what you want to get in a relationship. You know, Saturn in Pisces is not easy. Wow. I mean, we have to pull another card. Why? I want to see why the death is up. And so this could be, I mean, I don't want to be scary, but like, you got to be careful. Like, you're dealing with some really fucking crazy dark people that you could be trying to get by not paying attention to your psychic awareness this week. about what you're trying to go after. Yeah, you got Temperance with this. Like, you're trying to fast track things with new people quick. Even if you are partnered, you're doing it on the side. And yeah, look at that, life and death. Look at Temperance and Empress. You could almost fucking match these cards. You know, you need to put the power into your own self and your own in something beautiful. That you need to realize that you have so much beautiful energy, Gemini, in your own, and that you don't need anybody to make anything for you. But you know, there's something to say about putting an end to some karmic relationship too. Oof. I have to go pee, so I'm going to pick a thing, and then I just have to go pee real quick. And we got Libras. Oh, this will be a good one. I don't know if anybody also, I'll bring my phone with me while I go pee. If anybody wants to say anything about what they think about that Gemini reading, that was pretty gnarly.
They think it was quite intense from what I saw. It was. Hello, everybody. So I wanted to talk today about there are no bigger moments than the little ones in this life. And like I touched on getting home on Friday after a long week here at the office. We had an event last Thursday, which everybody here busted their ass, you know, and I was pretty worn out. And to come home and like have those two gifts, it was just like, wow, it kind of opened up my eyes about the appreciation of life and appreciating the people that are in it, you know. It took time out of her life to make me this thing, you know? And it can be something as simple as even just like buying yourself roses, buying yourself some flowers. I mean, I love going to the store and stopping right in there, and you kind of stick your head in those flowers right there and you smell it. And it's like, wow, that's life. And it's appreciating those little moments every single day. You know, it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be just a little bit. It can be that coffee in the morning, you know? It can be waking up and that silence, you know, not hopping right onto your phone. Just existing in you, taking that first breath of the day and like really acknowledging like, wow, I'm here today, and existing in it, you know, and even showing that love to the other people that are around you too. Getting someone flowers that, you know, maybe they haven't received in a while. I love buying flowers for people, you know. I wish I should actually probably keep them more in my house because they are beautiful. But living your life, you know, authentically and showing the appreciation for people. I mean, there's not much more to that because this life is quick. You know, it sometimes feels like it drags on and on and on, but you know, realistically, it's not here, and people can be gone in a moment. So showing that appreciation and just like showing up for people, that's a big step, you know, and it's hard to do because sometimes we feel, touching on that worthiness as well, it's like sometimes we feel like we're not worthy enough to be giving that love to someone. Sometimes we feel like we're not worthy enough to receive the love that people are trying to give us as well. So it's like you have to step back at times and really assess your life that you're actually doing, that you're actually living. Are you going to be someone that's happy? You know, are you going to appreciate the day? Are you going to find joy in some of the fucked up situations that you're going through? Because there is that joy too, you know, going through pain. I've touched on this before, you know, going through pain and struggle. There's a beauty when you come through that and you know that, wow, I made it through that. And, you know, there's potentially that nothing's really going to affect you the way that you just went through that situation. You rose up and you got it. You attained that happiness again. And so you need to pat yourself on the back too, because going through fucked up shit is life. You know, finding the beauty in life is what it's all about at the end of the day. So we're so grateful to have all you guys here. You guys are in the chat with us, crushing it. Oh, I see David, so serious. Well, you know, life is serious too, my friend. It is. It is. It's serious and it's beautiful and it's fun too. So what are you going to do, you know, going forward? What are you going to do tomorrow to kind of bump up that energy within yourself, to show that appreciation, to show that you are worthy? It can be as easy as telling yourself that you're worthy. You are worthy to bring in love into your life. You are worthy to get that new job or that new car or that dog or cat, whatever you are worthy for. You are worthy to attain that happiness in this life. But on a happier note, the end of the decade is coming. You know, it's a big celebration. It's a big release. And I mean, it's crazy to think that Christmas is next week and we're going to start this whole new thing over again. And we're going to be back in this spot a year from now talking about what 2020 had, brought us in this life. Because we don't know what it has in store for us. We don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So we can only stand in there and hope, We can only stand there and project a happiness, even if, at times we're not the happiest. But if you believe in yourself and you believe this path that you're on, there's nothing really that anybody can say or do to bring you off that, hopefully. You find that self-appreciation, you know that self-worth. And it's all about bringing it full circle back to you, back to where you came from, to where you're going in this life. And it's beautiful. So remember that. Life is beautiful, even as fucked up as sometimes it is. It is a beauty to be here. And you are appreciated, and you are worthy. Mr. Palmer?
Is it beautiful like the waterfalls and the rapids?
It is.
And just let it flow.
You just got to let it flow,
You just gotta let it just flow in life sometimes, So who are we on right now?
Libra.
I gotta change out.
We are on the Libra.
What were you talking about? Because I didn't have you on. I was in the chat though.
What was I talking about?
You.
I don't know. It must have happened during one of my blackouts.
What were you talking about?
I was talking about self-appreciation. I was talking about worthiness. I was talking about, that there's no bigger moments than little ones in life, and how grateful I was to come home and have those two gifts, that someone actually put their heart and soul and was like, thinking about me. Even though I hadn't spoken to Ari in a very long time, I got hopped on the phone with her and we talked for probably like 45 minutes to an hour and just had a great conversation and appreciation about what she did and what she's doing in this life, and and her journey as becoming a shaman, and just really appreciating like what we are and who we are in this life. And that sometimes you just need to stop and smell the roses when you get into those grocery stores. Like I was at Trader Joe's, and it's like you walk in there, right around the corner they have all those flowers there, and it's like I stick my head in all those flowers and I start smelling that shit because it's beautiful and it's life.
It's medicine.
It is medicine for the people.
As I'm hitting a jewel.
And I keep seeing someone posting hvfulldisclosure@gmail.com. That's actually not the email for this. That's for the show that we do exclusively for High Vibe members. That's on Wednesdays. So if you're a High Vibe member, then you should email hvfulldisclosure@gmail.com. And if you're not, then you should become a member because you're missing out.
Missing out.
We're
Nothing worse than
emails on this show.
FOMO. Feeling of missing out. All right. So Libra, we've got a lot of energy in Capricorn here. This is your fourth house. You're dealing with home situations. You're dealing with your deep emotions. Where do you want to root? Maybe even wanting a family, or for the older Libras, maybe you're dealing even with your family stuff. But we do have the sun finishing in the third house here. You have some last minute, especially with Mercury square Neptune. Does these relate, if you're in a relationship, Libra, because all Libras are always in a relationship. I don't know, like dead single like Libras. Libras always have somebody they're dating or kind of with, like, or talking to or whatever. But there's like this whole, last questions that, need to be answered in yourself. Maybe you need to address them yourself, and you need to look at if you're really ready to go in this reality emotionally, because it's deep and it's, there's nothing worse than Libra. Already just went through a decade of feeling locked away in crazy relationships, but it's like there's nothing worse than being in a stale relationship. That's the one thing that Libras have to be worried about now. Not crazy ones, but stale ones. And then you being the one that feels like the guilty trip and will not leave. And then, because Capricorn is very, slow, and in the fourth house, it's very like, brr, brr, and you need that stability. But there is a sense of like, are you going to sacrifice your beauty and your grace and your excitement for life for like boring stability? These are the questions that you need to answer right now. You pulled the you are contemplating this week. I fucking knew it. There's a lot going on that you are unsure about, certain people, relationships that you've put a lot of serious energy into, your own contemplation of what you want in your life. And I think this is a week to do it, because you got to think of the repercussions. You need to think of the repercussions about what you choose to get into and what you choose to own and what you choose to stay in and what you choose to, and you got to be careful too, but you need to contemplate about, if somebody's trying to come back into your life, you should contemplate it. You shouldn't think, like, oh, I'm not going to think twice. I'm just going to do it. Fuck it. Like, it's like, you need to contemplate your relationships this week, and you need to really you need to kind of do a deep review on things. You need to maybe even take a little break for a second, kind of separate yourself from the situation and see where you're at. Because there's going to be triggers this week, especially in astrology with Mars in the second. Like, as you were talking about inner authority or self-worth, and, there's like this self-worth thing of like, is this the best that you can get? Is the best? What is? Maybe you need to, where's the challenge? Let's see. Yeah.
Little crying moon right there.
Yeah, it's the good fortune card in challenge. So you might feel like you're in an unfortunate situation. Maybe that's why you're contemplating it. Maybe that you don't see something there, but I think the challenge of a good fortune too can be an over optimist, even though they know the writing's on the wall. I mean, if you're dealing with O.J. Simpson, like, we're talking about after the case.
The juice.
The juice.
The juice is loose.
I don't know. I don't think he ever got in a relationship after the Nicole kid.
Oh, guarantee he did, for sure.
I don't know if he got into like a full-blown boyfriend or girlfriend thing. I think he just had like.
He's on Twitter now, which is pretty fucking strange and hilarious at the same time.
The glove don't fit a quit, but the glove fit. So the reason why I'm saying all this though is because this good fortune here is like, Libras are kind of Libra rising, Libra Venuses, stuff like that. This good fortune card here in the challenge is you might be realizing that it's not as good as it looks, or it doesn't look good, and you are just going to try and push through and say, no, it's going to work. It's going to work. It's going to be great. And so that's why you need to really contemplate all your relationships. This could also be bad luck as far as like, maybe you have a crazy ex, or you have somebody who's going to try and bring some negative energy towards you, or you're dealing with that right now, and you need to be very slow and contemplate how to deal with this, and you don't need to give them attention, but you also need to pay attention to the situation. And you did get the Venus love, so you need to look at what the real love is, and maybe there's contemplations because like you don't feel like you're fortunate or you're good for that, or what a fucking complicated reading. I mean, this is your card, the Venus card. I do feel that things are going to work out in your favor, but you need to, in order to get here, you need to go, what isn't really working that you thought is great? What is it? What isn't working in your life either? Maybe if you're single, it's like maybe the bad fortune for you in love right now, Libra, is like that. Maybe you need to reconsider the way that you approach partnerships, and maybe the way that you put yourself out there, maybe the way that you expect certain things from people. And so there's a lot of rethinking about all the ideologies of yourself and how you deal with relationships. And maybe it leads to bad fortune because like maybe you're trying to make an old situation come back, or you're making new situations that come in. It's like you're not even giving them a choice. You're not even giving them good luck. It's like you automatically are like, fuck you, no, like there's no good fortune here. Like come on, open the fortune cookie, or let people show them, it's like, you already automatically assume like maybe a cookie doesn't have fortune in it, but there is something to say is like this is kind of like your own stories that you're creating. She is reading a story like this, like she's reading her own story here of bad fortune, and like maybe this is about realizing that the challenge is that you think bad luck's going to happen in love, that you need to rewrite that story too. You did pull the Hermit reverse, so yeah, there is a deep need to process things from a wiser position. But that Hermit reverse too, on top of the good fortune, it is kind of saying that maybe some of the bad fortune lies in that you're too afraid to light the situation of truth up, and that truth in yourself. And maybe it's also about not being like such an old person. And I brought that up earlier, didn't I? Said grandmas and grandpas.
Yes, you did.
Libra, like, it's weird. It's like you need to remember that even old Libras, like my grandmother's a 94-year-old Libra will walk circles of fun and laughter around most Libras that are probably watching this. And, you know, it's like she's having fun all the time. She calls me and laughs. Every time I see her, we laugh. She loves taking Instagram videos with me, as you can probably see on my Instagram. So like, I think that there's something to say about, there's like this, one, if you're in a partnership, there's a lot to look at here that you need to contemplate, and there's a lot of whatever's not feeling right. You need to see where, and also, are you being wise about the choices you're making? Two, if you're single, it's like there's an old lady in you living, and it's causing bad fortune, and it's not leading to the love that you want. And you pulled Saturn. We got a lot of Saturn today, and Scorpio in the 5th. So, you know, Saturn in the 5th is about learning that, you know, you can bring the authority back into, you know, life with love, especially with Scorpio here, learning to attract the love you want by stepping into the authority of that, but also about being real, you know, knowing how to attract what you want instead of detract it. But Saturn and Scorpio, I was born with that. I can help you with that one. Like, come on, like, don't give any energy, or don't bring authority, and don't make your life or your path the love of something that you are not fully 100% all fucking in on. If you are not fucking wanting to devour that thing, like when a pizza fucking comes and you're not ready to eat the whole fucking pizza and just eat a bite of it, there's a problem. And you need to get to the bottom of sexual shit. Especially 5th house actually deals more with sex. Like fun sex, like, or just like sex in general. Like there is something to say here about a lot of blocks here, and a lot of also in partner relationships. I'm sure you're having sex, but there's also kind of like, is it fun? Is it depth? Is it your edge? Is your dinosaur being fed? Man, good luck, Libras. That's a fucking weird reading right there. I want to give them some hope, so we'll pull one card. And yeah, you got the Chariot reversed. Maybe you're going the wrong direction right now in love, and especially there's some Libras that are not charging forward into a new way of love. You know, it's like you're too much in control. You're not letting the universe be in control more, and you're trying to control and save a situation, or you're trying to control how situations are to be the way that you want to be. And I'm sorry to say that that's not going to work. You need to be honest with where the universe is trying to point you towards. And I know it might seem like it's bad luck, but it's not. It's actually getting you out of this old, wise, creepy old person who has too much control issues. A lot of control issues. Wow, that was gnarly. What's up with those air signs? We haven't done Aquarius yet, but fuck, man. Gemini and Libra, not looking too hot. What? And I just pulled Aquarius. So let's maybe the Aquarians can get out of the fate of triple in a row. I think we just pulled a triple, right? A air sign. Bop, 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 bop. And no, that was not a jackpot. We'll see. Maybe the Aquarian comes through with the fucking, you know, whenever you play fucking Wheel of Fortune in Vegas, like, you know, you're like, oh, I need it to land. It's on the last wheel of fortune. Spin.
All right, Aqua.
Am I by myself? I've got thousands of people watching me and I don't hear anything.
Hello? Crickets?
I'm in this huge warehouse by myself. I'm like, hello!
I have left the building. I am no longer here.
What the fuck's going on?
This is all previously recorded content from here on out.
This is not pre-recorded. I'm like, what the? Or maybe, you know what it is? I'm in a fucking crazy fucking, I'm like I'm like fourth dimensioning myself and seeing the reality.
I do robot things.
I'm like, God dang.
Gosh darn it. Now you're a robot.
Huh?
You're a robot doing robot things.
I know. I used to talk so much shit on this.
Yeah.
And I do it. And people have been writing saying, like, you're so fucked up. Those things are going to kill you. I'm like, do the fucking research.
Life will kill you.
FDA, fucking, it was the THC. Wasn't the fucking Nick.
There's things coming out there saying that tobacco smoking now is healthier than vaping.
Who's saying that?
I was listening to KFI today, and there's some report that just came out.
Hey, I have cigarettes on me too. I'll fucking smoke cigarettes. Fucking, if that's what the thing is, I'll quit that in a minute. Fucking, I'll smoke cigs. I like cigarettes better anyway. But I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. You know what's so sad? It's like this became more socially acceptable, right? Like, actually, it was like respectable to smoke on television. Johnny Carson used to smoke on TV. Like, it was chill. Now it's like, oh, this is a vape, so fucking it's respectable. And then now they tried to fucking cock block that shit. So now they're just trying to make smokers or anybody that likes to enjoy fucking nicotine fucking like look like, but everybody can drink coffee and just be all yipped up on caffeine all day. Just be like that. It's in a Starbucks cap. So you're fucking good.
What's really in that Starbucks cup?
Have you seen how much milligrams of caffeine is in a venti fucking
There's probably some
Starbucks?
bourbon in that.
Over
coffee
120 to 130 milligrams of caffeine. I don't know if you've ever done 130 milligrams of caffeine, but woo!
Feel loose.
I remember, no joke, when I used to start my astrology and I would be building websites, and I, believe it or not, you guys should check out Jordan Maxwell. I helped build that site with some of my buddies. Like, I redid his site in 2011. And I was doing coffee. I had a Keurig. So I was doing that, but it was expensive. I was broke.
Yeah, fuck that.
So CVS sold caffeine pills. Yellow caffeine pills, like 100 milligram pills. So I know what it's like to take fucking 200 milligrams. And then I was like, fuck, Starbucks, it's like, you get a venti and an espresso shot. That's about 200 milligrams. I was like, holy shit. I was sweating. I was pacing. I thought I was fucking going to have a heart attack. I was like, ah!
Yeah, Kim brought me one of those Vietnamese coffees the other day. That shit gets you going. Whatever they're putting in there. You need to get a little pick-me-up, get some Vietnamese coffee.
But yeah, fuck. Caffeine pills. I don't think those survived. I don't know if you could buy caffeine pills at CVS no more.
The No Dose.
Well, No Dose was a brand, and they were like 60 milligrams, but like CVS came out with their own brand. It was like 100 milligrams a pill. I was like, holy fuck, man! I took two of those. I remember just being like, I got fucking all Jordan's Maxwell, all of his conspiracy theories. Like, it was like old HTML using Dreamweaver, and I just HTML. This image connect to there. Fucking parenthesis, close the. Yeah. Fucking BR, break here, break BR. I don't know if you ever used to use HTML. BR. Okay, link this image here. Link to this video. Like, yeah, fucking out. Days, months. That was like a 3-month project every night. Ah. All right. Aquarian, we've got Venus coming into your sign. So it's good, but there's a lot of 12th house shit going on. The sun's going to come into your 12th house. It's going to be like, well, fantasies or losses, like it is a house of losses. I got to be honest. Sometimes it's a house of misery too. Not Missouri, but misery. There is a lot to say, though. With the sun in the 11th house in the last week, this is your natural house. With Mercury here, there's a lot to say about like figuring out your world. I said it last week, but now it's going in the 12th. It's going into like, is your soul in alignment with a life that can be with a soul in the same way? Like, is your soul living its truth? Is it fully in its truth? And with Venus coming into your sign, there is something to say about like, this is a makeover. Venus in the first is always a makeover time. It's a makeover of your life. It's a makeover of what you're going to attract, the kind of people you're going to attract, and the kind of energies that you are ready to, make a change in the 12th. Like, this is a major, you're going into like, a major reboot in your life. And so that's a weird time for relationships. If they're willing to go through the reboot, if they're willing to stay, if they're willing to come into a reboot situation. So you might kind of get people that are willing to help with the reboot. But, once the sun enters Capricorn, you're entering into the biggest reboot phase. I just do want to say this, actually, and this is a side note for all signs, but this is the last sun and moon in fire signs until, while Saturn's in Capricorn, till Saturn comes back into Capricorn in the summer. Because Saturn goes into Aquarius March 22nd. And throughout this whole entire time until we get to Aries, there is no sun, moon, and fire signs. So this is the real winter coming tonight.
Winter is here.
It's gnarly. Like, there is going to be no more luminary fire. Like, it'll just be the moon, not the sun, because the sun leaves this week. And then, and even when the moon comes into Sag next week before the eclipse, it's going to be a dark moon in Sag. So the next fire moon is not positive. So when it comes to passion and love and all that shit, this is the week to make the adjustments or to accept things, because it's going to be dead. It's going to be not dead, but we're going to come into some really dark times. And this is how we do astrology. Is not just, memes and fucking bullshit fucking astrologers out there on Instagram doing all this bullshit and these little fucking posts. Like, no. Like, do the math. Do the ancient way of doing astrology. Like, and we are getting close to Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter rising over the sun. I mean, fuck that. So, in Capricorn. There's not a lot of time. I've been saying it, and if you were part of the app, I fucking went deep into it. Why? All right. Patience. Yeah, there's a reboot coming, and I think that patience is hard right now in Aquarians in their love life. It's like you want love to go a certain way, but, life is about to take a bunch of really big twisted turns on God's channel. And there's a lot of patience needed to be had. Aquarians want to fly through the universe, but for some reason the UFOs are checked into the Quickie Lube or the Jiffy Lube. And there's nothing worse than sitting at a fucking oil change shop waiting for your car to get done. They have horrible coffee, right? They always have some horrible TV show on, and you're just kind of sitting there. So patience is going to be very key, and finding partners that are willing to be patient with you is going to be another part too. So you got to focus on that. The challenge that we got this week is grounded. Yeah, you don't want to be grounded. You want to fly and go and have whatever you want. And this is definitely a time of patience and grounding. And I think the challenge is, like, you don't want to feel anchored, but the anchor is dropping. We are coming into Sun Capricorn, Saturn's Capricorn, Jupiter's Capricorn, and that's Saturn, Pluto, right? Sun and South Node. And Venus is in Capricorn too this week. So, this is your 12th house. This is tests. The 12th house is the ultimate test in astrology. So, and you are getting the biggest one of everybody. And I've had some Aquarians even unsubscribe from my channel and everything because they're like, you're just an asshole about it. I'm like, no, I'm just being real, and I'm helping you realize that you are about to go through a major reset in your life. And it's hard because it's Capricorn, and it's very slow, and you are very fast and want to connect and want to have everything figured out. And this is a blurry time, the 12th house. And so there's a need to ground and be patient so you can see clearly on everything right now, and see clearly if relationships will work and which ones are going to work, and how you can ground your life to be into the true self that you need to be. You did get the moon card. There's a lot of emotions coming up that you've been hiding this week or you haven't expressed. There's been a lot of suppression emotionally. So this is going to definitely be a week where the patience and the grounding and kind of feeling a little bit stuck is going to bring you to this really heavy, and you might even have an emotional, like, not breakdown, but just an emotional release this week that's needed, and finding relationships that'll allow you to do that. But, at the same time, it's like maybe you got to purge all the emotions about past relationships, how relationships have been going. You got to be emotionally real though, and you got to let the soul through. Like this is what the work is the 12th house is dealing with the soul. And so this is a lot of soul work, and it is, I'll be honest, Aquarians on the backside of all this coming into the 2020s, like by the time we get fully out of Saturn and Capricorn, which is December of 2020, and Jupiter. So at least those two, the biggest planets are out, and will just be Pluto in the 12th. There is something to say about that. Aquarians will have gone through one of the biggest spiritual lessons and tests, and be some of the highest vibrational beings on the planet. So I just want to give Aquarians that. But this week definitely is a test. And it's interesting to see that all three air signs got this too. And you got the 7 of rods upright. So, you might have to fight for your position. That's the thing. Other people might be at odds at what you want in a relationship, or, people might be not seeing things the way that you want, but you kind of have to own your emotions and what you want, and you got to stay on them and not switch. Like, so it's like, the 7 of wands doesn't go, well, I want this, even though people don't like it. Doesn't mean that you're going to say, oh, fuck this. Okay, I'll give in to all that. You got to hold your position. You got to show why are you worthy? So there is something to say about you kind of having to show your worthiness and own your worthiness. And that's going to be patient for maybe people to see. And that's what's going to take a little bit of time. And maybe it's because they need to see where your emotions are at. They need to feel your emotions, which that's not easy to be an Aquarius, for people to feel your feelings fully, Because anytime an Aquarian brings out feelings, they come out different. That's why Aquarius is the one sign that, is dealing with disconnection from emotion. And that's where Saturn's co-ruler is Aquarius. It's another cutting off of emotion. It's the opposite of Leo. It's the cutting off of light, of heart, for, to kind of be independent and to kind of, go into your own world, or to go rally up against, the light, sometimes, right? So, and say what's wrong, this king's wrong, or this king's bad. So you're gonna have to own your position pretty hard this week. And I because all the air signs, it's like, why are you holding your position? Yeah, Ace of Cups. You're not, emotions are not, you're not feeling beneficial in emotions. It feels like you're not getting the emotions you need. And I know that's difficult to see. And so it's like, you kind of have to hold your ground this week. And even though emotions are not going the way that you want to, you're not being fulfilled the way that you want to, this moon card is saying that they'll be fulfilled if you release your emotions, you cry, you experience emotion, you let people see the soul through your emotion this week. It's important. And you got the 7th house of Neptune with Scorpio. So yeah, it's going to be very confusing, of course, in relationships, about where people stand, or commitment aspects in relationships, or what you really want in relationships, or what you're willing to put in. There is a transformation coming on the spiritual level in relationships, at least to clear the air, at least to find out where people sit. But there is also, are you willing to channel your truth and your true soul, and be completely transparent on where you're at with relationships? And also, are you, Scorpio can kind of hermit as well, especially with Neptune, right? Like, you kind of go into its own spiritual weird world. Like, have you gone into your own spiritual Scorpion kind of cavern, when, there's this need to kind of learn how to integrate with people and connect with people on a deeper spiritual level, soul to soul, and be willing to meet people halfway, instead of people kind of not able to meet you halfway, because you're not showing up halfway.
Where are you not showing up, Aquarius?
Or it feels like somebody else isn't showing up full way. Either or. But that's always going to be a projection.
Juan and Juan.
Especially with Neptune there. Damn. You know what? God bless the air signs this week.
Well, we got like 3 left in there.
Aries. Yeah, we got Aries left, and then the last 2 is Scorpio and Sag.
Ooh.
What do you have to say about that reading? That was weird. Like all three, the last three were gnarly. Gnarly.
Yeah, I think it comes down to like welcoming that abundance into your life that we kind of been touching on. You know, I think that it's kind of affecting all of us, all 12 signs right now. It's like welcoming the abundance in it and not shying away from that true power that's coming into our life that we've been, you know, for the most part, been manifesting and trying to bring in. Or that power, it's like it's here. But are you going to let it in, actually? And are you going to embrace it? Because that's what it really comes down to. If you're going to stand there and shun away from it, or if you're going to actually face it and embrace that power and step into your true existence. That's what I think. That's what I took away from it. But, you know.
What do you have to say? Somebody in the chat said this is scary.
Well, sometimes these times are scary, so wake up.
All right. Well, Aries, Sun of the 9th, Mercury the 9th, Sun finishing in Sag, moving into Capricorn the 10th. So you're going to have to deal with fate, karma, especially with the South Node there, about your destiny. And there's a shift in the train tracks this week for you. Could even be especially just in life, but relationship-wise, about how the relationships are going to go in your life. You know, Venus is in your 10th, coming into your 11th. This is about finding tribe, finding friends, and finding also in partnerships, friendships that are taking you in the right direction. You know, are you on the same path as the partner? Do you have the same path or not? Do you have the same career outlook? Do you have the same, you know, vision? And so this is definitely going to be finding people in the same vision, finding people in the same path. Mars and Scorpio too is there's definitely this feeling of, you know, vulnerability that's extreme, and passions that you want to have, but it can be demonstrous if it's not in alignment with class. And so this is where Aries got to show their class, and they got to step up into class, and in a public way, and also in a way that knows how to get along with other people and stuff. Because, you know, Mars and Scorpio in the 8th can be a fucking terrorist, you know, like energetically. And, you know, you don't want to project any of your pain or your suffering that you're going through on others, especially that Venus is coming into Aquarius and going to square in your 11th. So this is about not projecting your pain onto other people, learning class and learning to be positive, but also learning that, you know, that you need to figure out your own tracks in your life right now and make sure that you find people that are on that same page with you in that sense. Your first card that you got is the integrity card. I think every single reading, I fucking say something exactly to the fucking first card. I just like, integrity is everything. The integrity in yourself first. Like, I think that's what you're dealing with in relationships, because that was what coming out in the astrology. I think the other part too is like, you know, is your relationship of integrity? Like, has it lost its integrity? Integrity, all it is really just like the integrity of a building. Like, is this thing like fucking got so many cracks in it, so many holes in the wall, so, you know, so many rats, so many just weird situations? Like, you know, where's the integrity at? You know, it's going to be tested this week. So I would, you know, and if you're single, like, you know, it's time for you to find integrity by, you know, showing it to yourself, to find others that are of the integrity that you could have, or you're just going to be dealing with people that are on the same integrity level as yourself, wherever that might be. But, you know, it is about finding people who, you know, have integrity and have a higher status, that they hold that line. That might be difficult, though, and it might be difficult because of wherever you're at with your own integrity in your life right now. Your challenge is the Earth card. So it's like, if you're having issues with self-worth, money right now, job, it might be hard for you because it's definitely stressful. It's definitely stressful to be of integrity or even hold that integrity, right? If you need to go on a date and you don't have money, I mean, trust me, I get it. Like, I've been there before in my life. Like, there was times when I was broke and I couldn't go date or find a lover, And, you'd think, oh, but people should fall in love with you either way or whatever. It's like, you kind of in this world need to have a foundation and a base of yourself and self-worth and the ability to do that, or you just end up in a relationship that is constantly struggling about money and money issues and stuff like that. But money is definitely coming up. So is the reality. This is all 3 earth signs. So, and for you being an Aries, it's pretty simple. It's like Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus, like money, work, and your day-to-day life. Like, there's a challenge with these things. And that's causing your integrity to go down the tubes, stress-wise. It'd be a lot of stress. And a lot of it is like, where are you going with your life and your long-term goals and work? This is a challenge for your relationship life. And I think it's making a major turn. Yeah, 12th house. There is endings coming, and this is the house of escape that this could also be that you're is the future outlook is you are kind of going into a void here. So and you want to avoid drugs, alcohol to escape right now. Kind of this stress, right? Like that might be the way you're dealing with it, which is causing integrity issues in your life, which is causing maybe why relationships aren't working out or no new people are coming in, or why your relationship kind of feels off. Like there's you, and sometimes escape is like, hobbies or, wanting your own space, but also kind of playing integrity games with your own space. Like, this is kind of a sorrow reading here, because it's about how can you hold your integrity when you're at a place self-worth wise and career wise and monetary wise and so forth that's all off, and then with this future outlook of like, there's something to say that things are kind of feeling like they are going into a void. They are feeling like they are going away. They are feeling like they are going into a mysterious place that only the answers are going to come through God, and to not step into sorrow too much, but to step into God's, truth, to come into integrity and see where God takes you. I mean, I think this is a loss of control, and that's good, because I think that there's been too much control that's actually led to this kind of blockage and stress. And you did get the 3 of Wands, so this is positive, but this is saying there is new roads ahead. And because whatever situations you're in right now are causing a lot of stress, especially around all this earth element stuff, this work, money, lifestyle stuff, that you kind of do need to go and look into new horizons, especially with the 12th house here as the future. But that spiritual advice is like, you need to stay positive, but you need to keep looking at the horizon line that you want. But, if you don't know where you're going and you're not doing that from a spiritual place instead of like a 12th house escapism place, like you're just seeing visions that are just of escape. Like you're just seeing fantasies. And you're having to prove it with integrity. So, but this also could mean like, I don't know why I'm picking this up, but it's like, there's a part of you too that might be holding on a relationship that, you're holding the integrity of it, but like, it's not even what you can even handle at the moment, or you can't even be in, just because you're dealing with your own, insecurities, or, there's a feeling of things not going the way that you want to right now, just in life. And I think that you have to realign with a lot of new things. And I feel really weird about this reading. Oh, wow. That's what I was feeling. So, there is a rebuilding that is coming in your life, and to get the Tower with the 12th house and on this earth element with the 3 of Wands, you got to look at this horizon and know that you need to get out of these situations that you're in relationship wise right now. And there's a lot of, and also in yourself, if you're single, like there is something to say that like you've kind of catapulted your ability to be in relationships at the moment because of, your own kind of stuff that you got going on that, like that, you got to own, but you at the same time, like, Like, is this a story that's what you keep projecting out? Like, you really think you're going to get the love of your life to come in that way? That's a hard one. Man, these are fucking gnarly cards. I told people, though, once we go watch Destiny's Call. It's on sale. I bring up this week, gnarly. 12th house, Aquarian, Mars. So, this is definitely things coming to a radical, shocking end out of nowhere. This is definitely a test to reconnect with your soul, though. Things are exiting and things are coming to force you spiritually to realign in a better place. And that's why I think friendships are important. Aquarian, we've seen Aquarius twice now. Well, Venus is coming into Aquarius, but I think that for Aries, yeah, it's a gnarly one.
It's about continuing also like the foundation that you've been building too.
You're right. Like, it's kind of like
in any situation.
Yeah, if you're building a house and it's on quicksand and you're building it with mud, like, it's like it's gonna still fall down in the quicksand, like. Yeah, or it's like, when you build a sandcastle when you're a kid, right? Like,
I do.
I mean, Craig and I grew up on the beach, so it's like, like you always were like, okay, when's high tide? And then you would have to start, when the tide came up, building walls to like try and hold the water back and try and keep your sandcastle alive. And next thing you know, goodbye sandcastle. Like, like, what? I should have gone all the way up by the edge of the beach where it ends. It's like, well, at least the water won't hit there, but it's harder to build a sandcastle there because the way that sandcastles are built, it kind of needs like the water in the sand a little bit, so. And that's what's the funny thing about sandcastle. There is a sandcastle feeling coming for Aries. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like the unsureness.
Yeah, and also a kind of a washing away of like whatever's been going on and a new vision and a new thing. And some people might be able to salvage it. Some people might not. There's some 12th house shit there. There's some hidden shit. There's also some psychological stuff. There's a lot of weird stuff going on there. Drug stuff, alcohol. Like there's a lot. Or hiding something, or something that has been constantly going on in a pattern. That's a lot.
There's a lot going on outside. We had somebody racing. Now we got this low flying helicopter above us. What's up?
Sages are last.
Some might say that there ain't no party like a Scorpio party, baby.
Man,
you gonna make it?
I'm gonna make it. I'm fine, actually. I just am tripped out. Those are gnarly readings. Like that's it was weird when we started this show today. I was like, okay, how are we gonna do the cards? I'm like, we're gonna go all oracle, and then we're gonna go bam with some real tarot on top. And man, it's a Wild West shootout.
Well, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this, Mr. Palmer.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Scorpio, hey, it's that time.
All right, so Scorpio's, sun finishing Sag, the second house. Mercury is going to score Neptune in your second house, but it's going to score Neptune in your love house. But so knowing your value, like don't, this is a time of self-worth and knowing, hey, like.
I think that's the theme of the day.
Well, of course, you're a Scorpio and you're going through all this Mercury and Sun and Sag. Like self-worth is like the big lesson that Sag or Scorpios learned for the last year.
I am worthy.
Exactly. But all this third house is then like, are you going to throw that away for just quick hits of excitement? With now the sun coming into Capricorn this weekend with Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in the South Node, and then Venus in Aquarius, though, which does go into the fourth house of emotion. So Scorpios are about to
be crying myself to sleep.
Well, emotions will come up, but I think that this is also about finding people who are willing to be there emotionally instead of just mentally. Because Venus, when it goes to the third, it's kind of like people are wishy-washy, kind of like, oh, yeah, and then blah, 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 blah. But Venus in the fourth is like, okay, I'm connected in Aquarius. Like, I want to connect with you emotionally. So I think that's going to be towards this weekend more, but
So
there's positives here. I think but it's about like realizing that the things that are just kind of like beating around the bush or kind of light on the surface, that you need to just realize that's what they are and know that's what their value is. It's kind of like 99-cent store products. Like, okay, that's what it is. Like, okay. They didn't want to show up emotionally, or they're not showing up emotionally, then that's all it is. And treating it that way instead of giving the weight or value to a 99-cent, store situation as if you bought like a brand new fucking Lamborghini. You know what I mean? Like the different situation.
Well, as the late great Jimmy Valbano would say, if you could do these 3 things in one day, if you can laugh, if you take time and find yourself spending time in thought, and if you can have your emotions bring you to tears, like that's a fucking full day. That's a beautiful day. If you can just do those 3 things every single day, man, there's no telling what you can do in this life. So
I would have to agree with that. I think that's one of the best things about living alone is like for so many years. And even when I met you, I mean, we both had roommates, but like, we had our own lives when we were young,
That we were.
And so I think that it like teaches you to do that and to be able to like have your own space to be able to really process things. And yeah, sometimes, the world, we want things, we want to experience things, we want to have stimulation, we want to have all this shit, but then, and if it doesn't happen, then you're kind of forced. That's what happened to me this weekend. I mean, I literally sat at home all weekend. I went to your house. That was all I did. So, and I didn't even leave my house yesterday. So I was like, all right, I haven't done this in a long time, And I was like, oh, well, okay, and I read a book yesterday and the day before. I've been reading because I got some fire coming for what's coming up with all the political shit and what's going on.
How many pictures did that book
It's fucking gnarly. And I had to do some deep reading on some books that I had bought years ago during Age of Deception that I didn't finish, that I was like, oh, I'm going to finish some of this shit. And I got gold. But, yeah. And then, yeah, like then there's moments where you just kind of sit back and I'm able to cry of joy. I cried of joy this weekend. I cried of a little sorrow, but mainly joy. And then kind of felt a little like, okay, I needed to sit and process a lot of stuff here. So I guess that's why I'm alone, but that's a good place to be. Let's see what you got for your cards there, Craigie boy, and all the other Scorpios out there. Ritual. So I think that this is just creating kind of like an understanding of like what patterns work in relationships and which patterns don't. So it's like finding a ritual. Like if you're going to be dating or if you're in a relationship and there's like this kind of path and ritual of like, you can see the signs of like, especially being an intuitive motherfucker that Scorpios are, you guys can read shit instantly. But it's like, if you start having that ritual where it's like, if I do this and I do that, and that's the reaction, I know they're going to fucking do that. I'm not going to do that. So this is where you are starting to see the patterns of the rituals that lead to the kind of love that you want and the ones that don't. So don't play into, like rituals and situations that are going to lead to the same situation. But it's also a ritual within yourself, I think, of reviving and creating a ritual to bring you to the love that you want. So it's like, maybe it's about setting a new intention this week and following it through the whole week and making it part of your week. Like maybe you're going to every day at noon say, I deserve the greatest love of my life, and making that your ritual this week, and being like, that's it. Also needing partners who have kind of a similar understanding of where they're at and what they're looking for as far as like coming together and wanting to build a ritual together. I think that's something that's deep, because if you're going to be in something where there isn't something where there's a common theme or a common place, and sometimes, of course, we always think of it as like the common theme is like relationship. But I think like having a ritual, like, hey, let's meet let's talk every, night before we go to sleep, or let's hang out every night and, have a glass of wine or something or whatever. Like there's got to be something that's clicking. I was watching Jordan Peterson, I watch him a lot, and he says in relationships that work out the longest that you have to go on a date once a week to work, or twice is what he recommends. Like, it just has to happen. Like, like that's the only way it lasts. So it's kind of like, what are the rituals that you're willing to do, and what rituals are other people willing to do, and trying to find something. And if you can find something there, it could go really, really good, like really good. But you have to be willing to do that, though. You know, the challenge that we got here is the safe travel. So I think that the challenge is that, you know, that there's this kind of like unsurety of that, you know, that you're even going towards good energy with relationships. Like there's that maybe you're drifting kind of far out to sea, like into the Bermuda Triangle. But I don't think that is the case. I think the challenge is getting over kind of this feeling that you're drifting into place, especially with Mercury square Neptune this week, since Neptune is your romantic house and Mercury's in your second house. It's about knowing that you have the skills and the power to travel in the right direction. I think by having the right rituals, you will. But if you don't have some sort of cadence or ritual that will keep you in alignment, yeah, you might drift out fucking, you know, and it won't go where you want to go, and then you're gonna have to turn around and be like, oh fuck. But I think that some of the challenge too is like, you know, people who, it is safe travel, so it's people who do follow the, I don't want to say directions, but they follow the law of travel, like in boats. The reason why on the port side and the starboard side you always see the green and the red lights on the front of a bow of a boat is because that's like the understanding of safe passage. Like, so on the port side it's green, and on the starboard side it's red. So it's like anybody coming to your right has to stop, okay? Because anybody to your left on the port side has the right of way. So like, you know, like you stop because they see the green and they go. If somebody's coming to the right of you, you're the one the right away because that's to your left. Like it's kind of like a, I don't know, it's kind of like a weird thing. But that's how, there is something to say that people that follow that, like I get really mad when I go in harbors, especially when I race jet skis and I have to go to Catalina and I have to fucking go out how many miles, like 4 miles just to get to the race line, and I have to go through the harbor and there's boats, just fucking people and rental boats, and everybody's just acting like it's like they don't know the law of the land. Don't be dealing with people who are all over the place emotionally this week. That's not safe. Like when they're not knowing how to navigate their emotion, like because they don't, you need to have a ritual to kind of show people that you encompass some sort of not authority, but just like that you follow something beautiful. And you know what, you can tell if people's emotions are all over the place, that's where you want to stay away from. If they can't just be very linear with where they're at emotionally. You did pull the Sagittarius card, so there is a lot of good luck and positivity coming, especially with, you need to kind of project now what you want to see and build that into your life. And anybody that is all over the place and not projecting that vision and not projecting that belief and not the life that you want, that's not safe, and that's just where you just want to avoid. It's like, why go spend all your time researching or trying to you know, a ritual could also mean, right, like, you know how you try to create like a ritual in magic, like you could be trying to like create something that is already not going to turn out what you want. So that is not safe. Like trying to continue to revive somebody who you know was not going to show up the way that you want to. You did get the King of Cups though, so you know there is and it's upright. So again, this is about your inner authority and being really very stern, but in a positive way as far as authoritative with your emotions, and you know the emotions that you want, and not that you have to demand it, because the King of Cups doesn't demand emotion. He's very comfortable in his emotion, but he's also empowered emotionally. And so this is about finding emotionally empowered relationships and you stepping forward with your empowered emotional relationships in a positive way, not a negative. Because one thing about the King of Cups is he doesn't lose control of his emotions, right? Like he's just like, this is what the emotion is and that's what it is. But with the safe travel on there, you can't lose yourself either about your compass emotionally and be all fucking all over the place. Like you have to be stern, secure in yourself, have a reality to the vision that you want to see. Because there's good luck when you can do all that. And there's people who see that and they're attracted to that. They're not attracted to when you're all over the place emotionally, and you're not attracted to when people are all over the place. So you need to accompany that, and you need to follow people that accompany the same kind of, you know, determination and strength emotionally and where they're at. We got Gemini, Mars in the first. So yeah, this is a time where, you know, this is about really figuring out what you want in your life and who you are and the kind of person that you are, and finding the way to communicate how you want things. So approach every situation for romance this week and love and relationships, like with not being afraid to say, this is who I am and this is what I want and this is how it looks, like communicating that. So there is no communication errors and there is no misunderstandings on who you are and what you're looking for and what you want, because if you put people into that in-between space, they'll take advantage of it. So Mars in the first is like, no. I'm here. This is who I am. I'm not like projecting bullshit on you. I'm just saying that's what I want. If you can offer that, great. If not, like, I'll part ways. It's cool. And go to the direction that you need to, Scorpio, because there'll be somebody who will see that and want that. But don't waste your time right now on trying to figure out a situation that you want, but they're not showing up the way that you don't want to. That's not going to work out. Because Mars in Gemini will spin its wheels and try and figure out everything about it all. But in the first house, it's like, wait, I know what I want. Like, why am I trying to figure out something I want? Like, I already know what I want. Why am I trying to figure out? Like, it'd be like if you want a truck, but there you are, like, looking at SUVs and looking at fucking sports cars and all that shit. It's like, fucking, I want a truck. Like, that's how I'm going to get. And somebody with a Kia, like, Sportage is showing up. And you're like, no, that's not what I want. I want a truck. Till Kia has a truck, maybe I'll look at it.
Boom.
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 Well, Sag is the last one.
Those Sag.
And it's their birthday, so happy birthday, Sag. And it's the last week of Sagittarius, so how ironic is that?
Yeah, that last one resonated because I have been like really focusing on expressing like who I am in this whole dating realm and like being authentic to who I am and like being upfront. It's like, yeah, I smoke cannabis. Yeah, I still like to go to concerts and get weird, maybe drop a little L and enjoy myself. And, you know, I'm very upfront and honest with all that because I don't want to waste my time. You know, if that's going to turn someone off, and yeah, I occasionally smoke cigarettes as well. So it's like, if you're about that, then yeah, we can continue this conversation. But I mean, if that's a non-starter for you, if it bugs you in any way, that's me, and I'm not going to be changing. So I think it's important for all of us to, I mean, that might not be your bag, what I like to do, but whatever that is, whatever that quirk is, you know, if you feel something strongly about the way that you live your life, you need to voice that in the very beginning and get that off the table. So you're not wasting your time, you're not wasting their time, and you just get on with your life and move forward. So.
Boom. I love that you say that, because.
So if you want to get weird, you hit me up, Chief Mojo Rising, 2 E's, let's go see a show.
Damn, just like, hey, you're doing what it says. Tell everybody what you want.
Yeah, exactly. I like to go get a little weird.
I think you bring up a good point, though, because I've been dealing with this a lot. Like, it's just like, you know, this is who I am, and fucking you accept it or you don't. Like, I cuss, I fucking smoke cigs, I drive my car fast, I race jet skis, I do astrology. That's already a fucking red flag. You don't even know how many people are so scared of it. Of course, people watching are not, but like, you know, walking into fucking like even if you're with somebody who likes it, there's going to be somebody in their life that doesn't like it. You know what I mean? There's always going to be a skeptic. There's always going to be a religious person, a family member, or whatever.
And
so
are they going to be okay with, you know, living that life authentic and say, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't care what you
think. And I do right off the top, you know, but it's like, I don't know. And I think that the more you step into that, right, it's like you are willing to accept that in other people way more easier. Like, I don't trip out. I'm not like, unless you're fucking injecting heroin in your fucking arm, you know, like that's pretty much my red flag, you know, like everybody has a red flag, but it's like some other stuff. It's like, we're all human, you know, but it's like, that's like just demonstrous, like fucking injecting heroin into your arm, and especially with fentanyl and all that shit out there today. It's like, I've just seen nothing but like, it's different than like, okay, if you drink alcohol, whatever, I don't drink. I'm not going to fucking tell anybody they can't drink. Like, fucking, they're an adult and I'm going to love them for whoever they are.
Yeah.
But like heroin, that like people are dying more from heroin overdoses right now than I think it was car accidents, or it was that, or yeah, I think it was car accidents. So like fast. It's not like, like some people tell me, well, oh, if you smoke, like you could die any minute from it. It's like, I get it. And my grandfather died from smoking, and my great grandfather died from fucking drinking and smoking at 50. Like, you know what I mean? Lyle,
Yeah.
like my great grandfather Lyle. So, in his 50s, like, so I get it. It's just like, but if it's like 0 to death in a fucking any day, like instantly from something like heroin, like that's just like, that's my only really red flag. Or if you, really,
cocaine these days too.
like, or if you don't believe in astrology, like, or you're not open to it, but usually it's not going to work for somebody like me. If you like really are, constantly like, there's no way this thing works. Like, like, no, sorry. I'm going to be talking about it. So fucking, I'm at work. This is my job.
Right.
Literally. All right. So Sag, wow, this is going to be, well, we got the sun in your sign, so happy birthday. Mercury's here, and Mercury's going to square Neptune, which happens to be in your 4th house. So there's going to be a lot of emotions coming up that you have to communicate that are going to be vulnerable. They could be they're going to be on both sides. They're going to be positive and negative. So it's like you could be dealing with having to tell somebody a negative emotion or just truth, telling somebody a real vulnerable emotion that's positive. Venus is coming out of Capricorn in your 2nd house. So, you've been weighing out your options as far as value, and that's a big deal, with especially the sun coming into the 2nd house of Capricorn. We got all this Capricorn energy, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter. So there's a lot about like weighing things out for the benefits and what is quality for you. But with the North Node in Cancer, there is this like transformation that's needed to get what you really want. But with Venus coming into the 3rd house, there's definitely about something new and exciting and stimulating coming for you. That's more connected, that's more in alignment with your same environment, the same way to communicate. But there's a lot of communication stuff with Mercury square Neptune and the Venus moving into your 3rd house. There's a lot about kind of short travel or going into new environments and exploring and seeing connections. So this is definitely going to be an interesting week for all the Sages with Mars and Scorpio in the 12th too. There is something to say about confronting a lot of things that are not working with certain partners or relationships, and making sure that you're identifying the deep stuff that you're doing with spirituality. Like, like where is the spiritual roads and relationships and so forth, and which ones are not. Like, it's like you need to weed those out, because if it's just not spiritually aligned, like it's gonna, the farther you go with Mars and Scorpio in the depth of your 12th, it will be bad. The farther you go with more of a spiritual relationship, the deeper you go into the spiritual world. So it's like, and positive, and kind of get out of your misery. Mars and Scorpio in the 12th is misery at its finest. So it's like you keep going deeper down a darker hole if you're in a misery situation that is not connected to the divine and with a divine partnership and so forth. So Sag, our first card that we got is the healing energy. So, somebody could come in to help heal with you this week. But, you're definitely kind of mending some wounds. But, I almost feel like, since this came up first, like, this healing energy is like, what is going to heal you and what is not good for you. So, you have to start choosing people who are good for you that lead to the right healing, in your life. Like, just by being around the right people, just automatically you feel better. But by being around the wrong people, they could be like taking you down. And I felt that with that Mars and Scorpio in the 12th. That was what I was saying, is like, it could be really toxic. So, sometimes just healing is just getting out of a toxic situation, right? Like whenever, I went in the gas chamber when I was in the military, like multiple times, like, so it's like, it's toxic gas, fucking, like you're not able to, it's not only tear gas, but like you are fucking done. Like your whole entire mucus system is drained. It burns your eyes, you can't see, and you got to get out of the room, and sometimes the healing is just getting out of the room,
Well, don't you have to like wait in line too after that? Don't they like have a bunch of different groups?
Yeah, they put you in a line, and then what they do is they, one by one, everybody takes off their mask, and then each person has to say their social security number. And if anybody says O instead of 0, you start back at the first person in the line of like 12 or 13 or 10 or whatever it was. So, and you have to, that's how they know you're inhaling the gas. So like, you know, you say your social, like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and it's, so if somebody's like, oh, 1, 2, oh, nope, start over, no, like, you know what I mean? And if anybody freaks out, then fucking you stay in there longer till you pretty much pass out. So it requires you to kind of see like who's fucking around and who's not. All right. So we got the water element here. The challenge is the emotion this week, and the challenge is definitely dealing with where the emotional healing can happen. You know, it's like, are you blocking feeling out? You know, because there is something to say about cleanliness of water, right? Water can clear out situations, but like the challenge is like you almost don't want to clean up, you know, a lot of what's going on. There's a lot to just clean up here. You know, it feels like there's this beautiful serenity that's possible, and there's just this toxic serenity, not even serenity, toxic situation around. So it's like you have to make a choice. Like, and I think this week it's like the challenge here with water is like you could be depressed. It could feel, you know, that you're not comfortable, that you're, you know, not safe, feeling safe, not feeling safe at your home. Then we got to go and look at the 8th house of like trust, like maybe you're not having passion and connection. And then you got the 12th house, like spiritual connection, but it's like, who are you around? What kind of people are you around for that? And then there's the offer of the healing and the energy to connect with that. We'll see from whatever that card is to help you out with the emotional thing. And you got the Saturn return that's here. So it's like, you know, picking partners that actually, you know, have some sort of, whether they have had their Saturn return or whether they are just, you know, living their life with, you know, where are they at with their adult energy? Where are they at with their growth? Where are they at and what have they done at what they're at in their age? I mean, like, let's be real. Like, you know, if you're with somebody who's fucking past their Saturn return, and they're in their fucking 30s and they still haven't got their shit together, like, what are you fucking doing? You know, or even if it's the same age as you and you're in your 20s or something, it's like, and they're fucking acting still like a fucking little kid, like they don't have their shit together. Like, what are you doing? Probably toxic shit that's going on. Because somebody that's fucking got their shit together, and you got to look at their age. Where are they at for where they're at their age? Take a look at the water of the emotion and the deeper realms of the emotional block that's coming from that. And also, by being around somebody that could be more of authority, it could help you feel safer emotionally and help kind of heal you in a better way. And you got the Queen of Cups. Wow. So this is about you realizing that you could have all the emotions that you ever wanted in your life, but you're blocking them, and you have to step into the emotion that you want instead of blocking them. Usually this is a situation into where you held this cup before, you held this position, and it didn't turn out the way you wanted to. So you've kind of got off the throne. And now you have to get back on the throne of your emotions. And this is self-nurturing, and this is allowing nurturing to come into your life as well. A Queen of Cups not only nurtures, but she also accepts nurturing back. And so you got to come back into this place that feels like home and nurturing again, to nurture yourself, to feel better, to feel comfortable in yourself. Because you've gone through a lot, Sag, relationship-wise, of all the signs with all the Scorpio stuff over this decade. That was the biggest amount of 12th house shit anybody could go through. Aquarians are going to be the next one, starting this Capricorn cycle. So, you know, oh, sorry, Aquarians, yeah. And then, yeah. So it's definitely it's an emotional week, but it's an empowering emotional week, depending on where you sit with, are you ready to step into the age you're at? And are you going to be with people that are empowered by the age and what they're at and are adults? Or are you going to play with children still? And you got Scorpio, Mars in the 5th. So, yeah, this is you going for your deepest passionate love and penetrating it as deep as you can. Because if you're going to be in a position where you're not connected and you're not that into it and you're not all about it, like it's not going to turn out well. Like you have to put the afterburners on this week, you know, and that afterburner will take you to the right energy. But if you're putting that afterburners on into dark places that are toxic to you, that have been continually been a pattern that has been negative and has been draining you emotionally, like, and trying to fill yourself up in that way, like that won't go good. So, but you know, Mars and Scorpio can definitely cut the bullshit out, and in the 5th house, connected to the true, you know, rise of the phoenix of the love, and actually get it. You know, Mars loves the 5th and loves Scorpio the most. So, besides Aries, so this is definitely a time that, especially since Mars and Scorpio is in your 12th, it's like your romantic life is dependent on who in your life is on spiritual terms and who is not. And it's their birthday, so we'll try and understand this healing. It's Page of Pentacles. People who didn't show up and did not value you, that you're healing. You're healing people who said they valued you but showed otherwise. And the age thing is dealing with people who are don't have strength. They don't have charisma. They don't have the ability to be graceful and have strength to do big things in life. That they need a lot of coddling in order to find their strength. So, happy birthday, Sag. Well, that was an interesting show.
It was. Got deep, got light, got fun. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, I mean, it was like going really chippery. I was having a good time with Leo, and then after that, it just went fucking. Scorpio went pretty good too. You and I scored, but
yeah, I ain't mad at it.
Oh man, crazy! And I just want to thank the thousands of people that were in here and thousands of people that are still here watching. Truly appreciate it. You can of course find us on highvibe.tv. Craig and I do our show, full disclosure, on Wednesdays, where we actually, instead of just doing the cards, we're just here like this, talking and actually answering your actual questions. So you can email us, hvfulldisclosure@gmail.com. Make sure that you subscribe to High Vibe. It's an exclusive show on highvibe.tv, which you can, of course, if you got the app on Android or on iPhone, you can subscribe through there. Or if you're on Apple TV, you can even do that too. So it's pretty awesome. And yeah, it's a very interesting time. And I think that this is a time to where, if you haven't looked, Destiny's Call, the video, is fucking blowing my mind and other people's minds. We recorded it 2.5 months ago, and it was all about preparing yourself for 2020. And these next 3 weeks of the preparation point here were the biggest part of the whole video, of course. And it's fucking showing itself up not only in these readings, it's showing itself up in reality right now. It's showing itself up majorly. So, like, and I'm not trying to, like, sell a video, but I also am. So I'm not gonna lie, but I'm also trying to tell you, like, I'm not trying to sell the truth that's in it. That it's like, it's fucking, there is no more time left. Like Jupiter tried Uranus this weekend. So guess what, folks? There is no more positive transits. Like we are, and this is, as we're talking, the moon is leaving Leo, and this is the last sun and moon in fire signs for a long time, especially during this whole Saturn-Pluto thing and with Jupiter. And fucking, it's going to be, there's not going to be a lot of light. So you want to make the calls right now to get to the light. And you want to do that right. And you want to not miss out on the opportunities before we step into a very narrow field of energy that's going to be coming in. You have to remember, and I'm going to make one of the biggest recommendations of my life right now. Whether you're on Apple Music or whether you're on Spotify or whether you're on YouTube, just type in Gustav Holst, okay? That's Gustav Holst, and he does the planets, okay, right? So, and you want to play Saturn, and think of that times 100 million. The reason why I say that is because when you get to Saturn, okay, it's the bringer of age and slow, and it is not exciting. Because if you just get Jupiter, for example, where we had it in Sag, and that's over now, and now Jupiter's in Capricorn. See, there's a lot more excitement going on and options and woo, okay? But you go to Saturn, and Saturn rules in Capricorn. And no, Saturn does not sound fucking good. Okay? My favorite's Mercury, and Mercury is going to go meet with Saturn and Pluto on the day that they conjunct, which will take any side. As you could tell, Mercury's my favorite. But none of these benefic energies, or even Venus, which is beautiful, okay? Like, none of these energies are around anymore. Sounds a lot better than Saturn. Okay? So, you have to remember we are coming into a time that it is, and I would recommend you go listen to all the planets to understand, because when Gustav Holst did that in 1930, which ironically is when Pluto was found, and it was weird because he didn't record Pluto because it had just been found. We knew nothing about it. We didn't even know anything where we were going to go in the astrology community with it at the time. So we got up to Neptune. But, he actually wrote all of that music and did all, literally, composed it all about astrology. And it literally is about the understanding of the planets and their astrological mythologies and the vibrations musically of what it should be. And I know it sounds so simple and stupid, but if you have not listened to it yet, then you have done yourself a disservice to understanding astrology, because that is the greatest example of understanding the vibrations of the planets and understanding the sounds and the vibrational energies. That's why you'll hear Jupiter be so big, and why you hear Mercury be so exciting, and why you'll hear Mars be so warrior-like, and why you'll hear Saturn be so limited and slow and depressed. People think that, depression comes from, in astrology, a lot of other things, but it really comes from Saturn, because it's the dead of winter in Capricorn. It is very restrictive, and it is very slow. And there is not much, there's no more time left. There's no more big grand transits. There's all the options have revealed themselves. I've been saying this, and I would get that video to help you. Also, I have Jupiter and Capricorn videos that are on highvibe.tv, which you can check out. They're on the paid video section. So, you have any last words, Craigie boy?
Oh, I don't know if I can follow that up, but again, we appreciate y'all being here. So make sure you join us live on Wednesday night, and of course tomorrow for Deep Astrology and After Dark. And again, you can find me, Chief Mojo Rising, with 2 E's, baby.
Boom, boom, boom. And you guys know where to find me. Just search the Leo King on anything. So I do a lot of fun stuff on Instagram. Love y'all very much. We will see you for Deep Astrology. Mainly, we'll see you on High Vibe for Full Disclosure, which is on Wednesdays. And don't miss out on the notifications. Don't miss out on the videos. Highvibe.tv. Become a subscriber. That's what supports this show by being free. Thanks so much, and we'll see you all on the next Deep Love Tarot.